Yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing right there. Is follow the money, and you'll usually find where the corruption is.
And that explains, the 3,000 per person a day quota, and how they don't care when they make mistakes.
There you go. Thanks. Thank you, Rick. Andrea, you are up. Take us out.
Okay. I think we're seeing today that electoral politics is still in the mix as a solution for where we are at, and voting does matter. So hoping we can use the momentum of these days to jazz people up for, must wins at the state and local level. And there's been some success in flipping those, but also, for the upcoming congressional midterms, the midterm elections in 2026. And then also just the July 17th march. And I think David Jacobs, sorry, is it Jacobs or Jacobson? How do I not know that? Jacobs, I'm sorry, David. It's just that what he says is quite poignant, because the timing of these strikes and the chill effect on some of the protests, and, people's free, right to protest freely and speak their minds, I think cannot be disentangled, but maybe it's a coincidence. So don't forget the Indivisible Broad Coalition July 17th March, which is on the passing of Congressman John Lewis. Good trouble. It's his death anniversary, or his memorial date. It's also, I believe, a date where Alabama was formally desegregated. We can check my facts. So it's a march in a way that is in solidarity with, equality for all. And also, just the other good news out there, there's a bunch of women's rights groups that are convening in Washington today, pulling together on the right, hands off my body, and what they can do to coalesce and fight back on that, as women's rights are being, to their own body, decisions about their own body are being rolled back in many places around the country. So maybe we should do a room on that at some point, because that's very important. And then I just put in the chat, a lot of times some people in these spaces have been saying, where is the we? There are a lot of tours out there right now, whether it's AOC and Bernie, and it's Chris Murphy, Maxwell Frost, or people affiliated with a party. But then there's the, the non-party affiliated grassroots movements like Indivisible, teaming up with a lot of other civil society organizations. And we have sat in this room, I've heard people say, where are a lot of discussion about where are the upholders of democracy, champions of democracy, are black women and black men. Well, I put a link in the chat. There's a State of the People tour that is going on around organizing and mobilizing and talking about the moment. And I think they're going to have more dates coming up, but there are recaps of all those marches, if anyone's interested, or those rallies rather, in the chat. So they're not sitting on their butts doing nothing, of course, as always. So I'm just sharing. There's a lot of hope. This is the work of democracy, and so I'm going to go out on that. Do whatever little action you can take, and find your joy, and try to laugh. And yeah, that's it.
I like it. It's ending with a positive note. And we made it almost to the top of the hour. We're closing a little bit early, but it is it's a happy Tuesday. It's about 4:55 here in West Africa. Yeah. And I do apologize to everybody. We'll work this Adrian Dittman thing out in the recording. I think we have some links to his social media, so we can complain to YouTube. So if you feel strongly about it, complain to YouTube, do it every day. Complain to Clubhouse. I'll be complaining to Clubhouse to have him kicked out of Clubhouse. Let's see what we can do in social media to neutralize him and not worry about it. For right now, I'm not worried about it. So, where's our song today? Hold on a second. Okay, so we will see you around the hallways. Bye-bye.
Because there used to be a lot of homeless encampments in the same area. And I asked them why the government...
Yeah, it's in your pass the terms and conditions.
Thank you.
So he should be sued because also he's making money off of doing something that
Maybe we
is
should
not.
ask for a share of the money.
Well, that's another part of the issue, right?
I want mine, like, let's see how many
I want
people.
mine.
I want 1/16 or whatever number of people there are.
In Europe, like, you have the right to whatever system you're using, you have the right to revoke the consent to manage that data. So that's the GDPR. And in Canada, we have similar rules where, but the enforcement in Europe is pretty strong. Like, there's been companies that have had to pay millions of dollars. But in Canada, the enforcement is not so strong.
Yeah, let's sing some Disney music, someone who has access.
I love Ariel.
What
I
do we
think
play?
Disney is good. Or Taylor Swift is good.
Have you guys heard of that guy, Edmund? I heard he's trans.
Trance.
Likes butt stuff, I heard.
Yeah, I heard he's like really into quirky, like trans stuff.
Did I
He
tell you
likes
the
women
time?
with dicks.
Did I tell you the time
Chicks
he
with
was
dicks?
talking to a girl on the
Chicks with
phone
dicks.
and she turned him down, did not want to come over and see him. He was really bummed.
I also heard he has a micro penis.
I heard he has no penis. So
If you were to make a
He has a
portmanteau of
failed trans
micropenis,
operation is what
is
he
there a
has.
portmanteau for micropenis?
how about facilities management at the IRS? Anybody we know did that?
What does that mean? No, there's just decking on with the.
The guy Jules, he comes in the room sometimes. Kind of a slow, low talker, not stupid. Jules, he's ex-IRS.
I haven't seen that guy.
He comes in on other rooms. I think sometimes it's no picnic to listen to.
My friend's kid is IRS attorney, and they're all worried about getting fired.
People and then being like, but if that's a big but.
Hey, I don't, I'm just gonna be very frank with you. I don't want some dirty fucking Muslim being the mayor of the largest city in the United States. I mean, if you want to know my deep, the crux of it.
Yeah, your mask off moment there. I mean, that's it. I respect you for being honest at least. Most people on Clubhouse, they have these, they hide their racism or their prejudices or whatever you want to call it. I mean, so I respect you more than most people.
You know, Pepe be performing. He probably got a black chick next to him right now banging her.
I don't know. I think like racists serve a purpose. Like it's so much easier for someone to be like, Like, what was that guy, conservative atheist or whatever, before he died or whatever?
Wait, he died?
He died?
I'm
crazy.
How do you know that?
Someone told me in a different room he died. That's why I didn't come on the app anymore. So I don't know how they found out, but that's how I found out. But anyways, I was like, his purpose was like it's so much easier when you have an open racist, because people don't have, I don't have to explain it. Like, just listen to this man speak. Like, he would talk about the white ethno state that he wants, and like how he wants to separate from the blacks. I'm like, this is so much easier than reminding people that racism exists. That's a lot less labor for brown people to do. Like, we should just put him on a speakerphone.
You know, I heard one day I was in my car, because I listen to, when I'm driving, I listen to like different talk shows, and I knew his voice. So one day he called in, I think it was like Dennis Prager. He called into the Dennis Prager show, and I just knew his voice, and he identified himself as, it was like conservative something. You know, he left the atheists out because, you know, Dennis Prager, you know, those dudes are like, you know, they're like religious and shit. So he was talking that shit to Dennis Prager, and they was shutting that shit down so fucking fast. They was telling them that he was a cancer to society and all that shit. That shit was funny as hell.
To be honest, like, I know you're not supposed to talk ill of the dead, but I'm perfectly fine with him passing. Like, that thought process is gonna die out. But, well, I think when everyone's like grandparents die, I think America will be a better day.
No. I think once people stop listening to people like Prager, you, and Ben Shapiro, the world would be a better place too.
I would think you would be into people like that, everyone. You know, like,
Do I like kosher conservatism? No.
is that what that's called? Why don't you like it?
It's they're just very subversive. They're just mostly just propaganda. I think people like Ben Shapiro in particular, they have their own agenda. It's not. We're not the same. I'll just put it like that.
Do you like Jordan Peterson?
I used to think he was interesting, like hearing some of his lectures, like when he was a professor and stuff. I don't really. Obviously I'll agree with him on some things. I don't really listen to him much anymore.
He's kind of fallen off. I think this is the end of the Jordan Peterson era.
I mean, he's not like when you say that, what do you mean exactly?
That he's fallen off?
But I never think he was on. He's like only a small minority of people even know who he is. He's not like,
he was a big deal. I mean, he's always on, or he used to always be on Joe Rogan podcast, and that's how he got. I think the thing that made him and Brett Weinstein, or one of the Weinsteins, famous was that stuff that was going on at the university. So they were the faces of like the anti-woke culture for a while. But lately, Jordan Peterson has been like crying a lot and like losing debates against little kids, and so I've seen a lot of people like say this, like, oh well, that's the end of Jordan Peterson. He's washed up.
Yeah, people are becoming a little bit more radical. It's kind of weird because I was like, I kind of relished being the bad guy, like social audio and stuff, and like the stuff I was like talking about like several years ago is now like kind of like mainstream, which it makes it kind of boring. But yeah,
he stole your little mojo, huh, Pepe? He stole your little twist you had.
Yeah, I don't really care to have conversations with a bunch of fucking people pretending, or maybe some of them actually believe it, you know, the stuff that I would say, but it's boring.
What's the point?
So who's the new guy that we need to look out for?
I think it's better to be hated than loved.
Oh, I don't think there's like any person who's it. It's mostly just a bunch of you see like a bunch of influencers that I kind of get like real grifter vibes from them. I see Nick Fuentes is popular with the young kids. I think he's a little faggot. I personally don't really like him that much. I trust him.
Fires.
Like the young kids, like they like Aiden Ross. Friday, he mixes it in with a little pop culture, with a little soft Jordan Peterson. The young kids like that Aiden Ross.
I don't never hear Aiden Ross talk about
but it's subtle though. Friday is subtle. It's not hard. It's not
he
right.
doesn't talk about social issues though. Like he's just a streamer. Like,
but it's subtle. That's what I'm saying. Friday. That's how they really win. It's a subtle thing. You don't have to be like a radical all the time to put in a lot of your red pill talking.
yeah,
It's
that's
like
true.
a soft way how they do it. It's a soft, easier, comfortable way that Aiden Ross does it.
Does he do that?
Omar, did you watch the Joe Rogan and Cash Patel interview?
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah, like I think everybody need to watch that so you can understand. Because everybody keep asking them, how come they don't arrest these people? How come they don't put charges on this? You know, the people that we know did crazy shit.
I think it's better to be hated than loved.
He pretty much was saying, and if you could read, but he didn't say it right out, but you got to read between the lines. You know, what people don't understand, these are government gangsters, bro. Like you can't just think you can just fuck with gangsters and think that they can't hold, that they can't hit back at you. And these people gotta live. Like Trump's gonna be president for like the next 3 years. Then what happens after that? And people like Pan Bondi, Cash Patel, they're still young. They still have to exist in this country. They not trying to get lined up for y'all.
That's a fact.
Like, these people will kill these people. These people will. And he talked about in certain situations, man. There's certain people involved with this Epstein shit, bro. These people will kill the fucking president if they want to. What you think they'll do to people like Cash Patel?
Do you have much faith in our country, like, down the road, like 20, 30 years from now?
Yeah, but we definitely gotta stop. We gotta do something with the people importing into this country, because I truly believe America has a certain spirit, and what I mean by spirit, meaning like, I don't know, man, like we just have a certain way that kept America America. And if you import people who don't share that same spirit, our country will eventually become the country that they ran from.
Hey, Friday, you see New York City about to have its first foreign-born mayor of the New York City.
Yeah, I mean, bro, You see that Friday? I got a lot of immigrant friends, like especially from Africa. I got a lot of African immigrant friends, people that wasn't born here. They were born in Africa. A lot. And when we talk about politics and how the country should be ran and all that stuff, bro, you can feel it from them, bro. They just don't have the same. They're not Americans, and you can hear it in their conversation. And they view America as like this cheap whore that everybody should just be fucking and busting a nut in. That's how they look at America.
Yeah, like as if America is just an economic zone, It has no culture here. It's just, you just get your money here. Just get your money. That's it,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've was preaching from the rooftops for years. It's not. To me, it's kind of a disgusting way of looking at the world. But even that term, the Great Replacement, that was a term coined by was it Rene Camus, he's a leftist, a French leftist, and he wasn't just making like an argument regarding immigrants and how they change their country, but also just how things are, how globalization is like really affected. For example, when they end up building a new building or something in France, it lacks the unique like French architecture. It looks kind of cookie cutter, something you would see in any other country throughout the world. And he sees it just like as an erasure of culture, which I would say is kind of, every country experiences that to a degree. But I would say demographically, yeah, like when it comes to our populations, the West is bearing the brunt of the immigration and the demographic changes that come with it.
But Friday, you told me the Caribbeans run New York City. Why ain't no Caribbean mayor? You getting this Muslim guy who was born, I think he was born in Uganda somewhere. East Indian guy is gonna be mayor. What's up with the native born? You told me the Caribbeans run New York City.
Hey man, that's y'all problem though. That's like that's the voter base. If that's what y'all want, that's what y'all gonna get.
Call me a faggot loser.
I already think it's too late. I think the country's gonna be. There's nothing you can do really, I think, to reverse what's happened. I think the country's gonna reflect the new population a lot more in terms of who they vote for.
So you tell me, Pepe, New York City is going to get a foreign-born mayor before they even get a woman mayor in New York City. That's crazy.
Yeah, look at London. They've had, they have a Pakistani mayor. Several towns and cities that have Muslim mayors. And what do you? If you look at the percentage of children, I believe the majority of children under 18 are now non-white. The black population African American population, it's remained relatively stable.
Yeah, we steady.
Percentage-wise, but that's because because the African American population is being offset by African and Caribbean immigration. But foundational Black Americans have a birth rate that's about as low as whites and barely high.
Ours is steady. We still getting you up.
No, you're not at reproduction.
Nah, hold on, man. Yeah, hold on. We're still like 2 point. I think it's 2.2. We're still consistent.
Watch, I'll sure. Just Google it.
We're not. We're still.
All right, I'm gonna Google it. Watch this. See what it says.
Yeah, we're still consistent. We're at replacement rate, so we're steady. No, we're steady. We flatline. That's
what is the replacement birth rate of African Americans?
But make sure you gotta, because if you just put African Americans, they will include every black person.
Yeah, but our birth rates are flatline. And we're not below. We're just at the, we're flatline.
No, bro, with the amount of,
we're not below. We're not below.
It's at 1.639.
We're below. We're not below.
It is. You're at 1.639.
And
no, it's not. 2.1 is.
Yeah, and that's because of abortions. Like we're the leaders of the abortion.
Yeah, that's
like over 20 million black babies got aborted in the last 20 years. 20
yeah, but where's white folks at? They're way below that rate.
No, we're just barely. I think. Let me look up white people now. I think it's 1.5 something. 1.568.
1.5.
Non-Hispanic white.
What was the blacks?
It was for the blacks. It was 1.639. So, like I said, we're just barely. You're just barely above us. Neither of us are at replacement rate.
See, I'm reading 2.1. My data has 2.1, and that's according to ChatGPT. Saying African and Black Americans is around 2.1 children per woman. That sounds about right. 2.1. Average black woman has about 2 kids. That sounds about right. Now, nine is it says here. Hold on. Okay. I got a little more. Hold on. Well, nah, back Hispanic woman was. Okay, COVID. Okay, yeah, that's gonna the COVID stats. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Pepe. The COVID stats, it went down a little bit after COVID. Yeah, to 1.6. Yeah, that's the order 1.6.
Yeah, I got 2.1 too when I put it in.
But 2.1 is and now it's back up to 2.1. Yeah, I see what you're saying there, Pepe. It was after COVID, it was down 1.6. Yeah. I guess they're having babies again.
So in 2023, according to the CDC, it's 1.581.
Yeah, that was the COVID. They yeah, because mine explained saying the COVID births went down a little bit during COVID. Yeah. Yeah, this stuff is interesting, man. These birth rates.
That's why they've been passing. That's why they've been trying to ban abortion. Because of society, I mean, people. I mean, I think in about 50 years, America's probably going to be a third world country.
Hey, Pepe, your country's going. If your birth rates don't go up, Pepe, your country's going to be gone. I already see that happening. Pepe, you dodged the bullet November 5th. Because you know, if that black lady would have got presidency, y'all wasn't getting this country back again. You know that, right? Yeah, dodged the bullet. You dodged the bullet. That was the main reason I voted for him. Like the number one issue for me is the demographic change. Like that's been for years. That's been my what I see is the biggest threat to America. And at this point, there's just too many. I think there's just far too many non-whites that are foreign-born that are not that we're not going to outbreed them. And it's just they're going to end up, having a higher percentage population.
So somebody wrote in the chat. It was Izzy. She wrote, people can't afford children. Like, and I hear this all the time. Like, and I'm just like, yo, no one can afford children, but they still have them, and their children still go on to live good lives. Like, if we had to erase everybody who had a baby that couldn't afford it, we would literally extinct ourselves as a human race. Most people in the world are born to poor parents that are financially poor. That shouldn't stop you from, creating new humans because you're financial. But my pushback to that, Friday, is because people, back in the day, reason why you had large families, right? Because a lot of families were into agriculture, right? The more children you had, right, it helps the farm, it helps the agriculture. More workers, more hands. Now, in today's urbanizations of societies, look at it in Japan, South Korea. They don't have as many children because you don't need children no more to help you with production. That's the only reason why people had a lot of kids back then, Friday, because they needed help on the land. That's not true, bro. That's true. What percentage of people were fucking farmers? Listen, most of the culture, 80% of your culture. There ain't even enough land for everybody.
That's correct. That is what caused it.
200 years ago, 80% of people was in an agriculture society.
He's correct. You saw the exact same thing happen in Korea and Japan. Once, industrialization starts to build up, it goes from more agrarian to urbanized populations, and it's actually beneficial to have kids when you're out living on the land.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying that ain't the reason. That ain't just the reason.
It is absolutely
was having a lot of kids.
But that was a big part of it. But it's a deterrent to have kids if you live in the city because it's very expensive to have kids in a city. And Japan, Korea, even China, the whole world is basically, even Mexico's birth rates are tanking. It's something that you're seeing all over. The most industrialized countries have the least amount of kids.
That's because
in general.
Hey, Friday, even the developed Caribbean,
they're not
Friday.
physically healthy enough to have kids. Like people aren't as fertile as they were back then.
Yeah, that's not true. But Friday, even look at the developed Caribbean countries like Barbados, Bahamas, and all that stuff. They're not even having children. They're below replacement weight too. If you look at the developed Caribbean countries, they're below replacement rate too. Because they're developed. You no longer need children. It's no longer an agricultural society. Look at it, Friday. Look at Grenada, all those countries, those developed Caribbean countries. They're below replacement rate.
See, yeah, Mexico's dropped below. It was just at about 2.1, 2.2 several years ago. The latest available estimates from 2023 to 2024 says it's between 1.6 and 1.68, which is below. And a lot of people would have never thought Mexicans of all people would stop having as many kids, but you're also seeing the same pattern in Mexico where people are more people are going to college, men and women are working, they're living in more urban communities. It's expensive to live that way.
Hey, Bahamas is at 1.8. That's below replacement rate. Highly developed country, right next to Miami.
But when you were talking about immigrants, them coming over, DJ Fridays, it's theorized that the immigrants this flood of immigrants we got under Biden, this could possibly be the last generation of Latin Americans that would seek to come into the United States because they're industrializing and because their birth rates are plummeting. They're not having the kids that will end up seeing a reason to come here, basically.
Which group has the highest birth rate?
It's Africa. Their birth rate's lower too, but they're still above replacement rate, and they're still higher than the rest of the world. But they're also the least developed and least industrialized, so it makes sense.
And their population is very young. I think the median age is 18 years old or something crazy.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And half of those numbers come from Elon Musk.
But people don't understand, when you let all the illegals in, it changes, the congressional seats, too. Right? So let's say, California gets a huge amount of illegals. I believe their congressional seats in Congress increase because a lot of people don't know this, illegal immigrants get counted in the census. So the census, it affects long-term. When your population goes up, now you get seats allotted and stuff like that. So it means a lot long term.
Well, it's like a double-edged sword. So you have people like me, and it sounds like you, who see the demographic changes as being threatening. But on the flip side of the coin, we are the world's superpower. We are the most innovative country. We do, in a way, have to have bodies to not only for national security reasons, but also, we have to have some kind of talent in this country, and if we're not producing that talent domestically, how do we compete with other countries?
Valley, a lot of those workers, where are they from? Those HB1V1 visas from other countries, right? But you're telling me, babe, the same people that sent man to the moon, created aviation, shout out to the Wright brothers, Ohio, people that live in Iowa, Alabama, sent the first man to the moon. They can't produce talent now? Well, all of a sudden they forgot how to produce talent. Now the same people that came
where
from
did
the
those rocket engineers
America,
come from? I mean,
say that again?
Where did the rocket scientists come from?
A lot of them was in America. Who was the white
No,
brothers
a lot of them were
from?
German.
Hold on, the Wright
Nazis,
brothers
yeah.
was from America. No, I'm saying the Wright brothers was from America, right?
Yeah, but landing on the moon, that rocket technology
Listen.
is built upon, for like immigrants. To be fair, I mean, if you look at a lot of what is considered American today was built by immigrants. It was created by immigrants, basically.
The Wright brothers weren't immigrants, though. To be fair.
Yeah, they weren't. I'm not saying they were.
Yeah. But you're saying now in 2025, I can't get no talent from Iowa, Ohio, Memphis, Tennessee. I can't get no talent.
I think we can.
I gotta give a little pushback.
I think we can, but with the dwindling population, it's gonna make it a lot harder. And America is seen as like the best place for if somebody has like a brilliant idea for a startup. I mean, America is the country they'll generally go to do that. So I mean, that's one thing we have on our side.
Kind of made sense. And then you weren't hungry. And I lost so much weight. My family thought I was dying. And my girlfriend, she lost so much weight, same thing. And then the other girl, she lost so much weight and she did die. But then what happened was they couldn't get the drugs in. So, and they would be shipping them to Miami. So instead they ship them to me. And I would then ship them to the next person. And I would make, like $50 every time I did it or something. And I think it cost like $250 or $500 for this stuff. And that was a long time ago. That was expensive. So I would get a discount.
This one's not. It doesn't have any pills. It's basically the first phase is just lean protein, and then you start adding stuff in. And like, I try every diet as well. People think I'm insane because but I went down to 82 pounds, so I had to stop.
Holy cow!
You kidding?
Oh my god, that's not healthy. Well, listen to this. The Scarsdale diet.
There's a creep in the audience.
So what?
A creep.
Creep in the audience.
Oh, thank you. Oh my god, this is nuts. The duration of the Scarsdale diet is 14 days. Caloric intake 1,000 calories per day. Mind you, I think FDA or whatever, not FDA. Yeah, FDA or something like that says 2,000 a day is like what most people should get, I think, unless I'm wrong. High protein, low carbohydrates, moderate to low fat. 1,000 calories a day. That's like, of course you're going to lose it, and then you're going to go back to eating regular stuff. You're going to gain it all back.
That's my regular calorie intake per day.
Breakfast, oh my god. Breakfast was half a grapefruit, 1 slice of protein bread, black coffee or tea. Lunch was lean cold cuts with tomatoes, no dressing, coffee or tea. And dinner was grilled fish or poultry. Wow, this is... I would go nuts. I would lose weight, but I would go crazy. His name was Herman Tauernauer. Not, for some reason I thought it was Eugene.
And the person that killed him because she didn't lose weight, right?
I don't, let's look into that.
I thought she was really pissed off because she didn't lose weight.
No, it was a love triangle. I thought it was a love triangle.
I can only hope that's how I go.
The love triangle?
I think she was having an affair with him, and he didn't want to leave his wife. Yeah, she had a long-term, often difficult romantic relationship with Dr. Herman Tauer lasting over 14 years. Over time, Tarnar became emotionally distant and had multiple affairs. Just before the murder, he had become involved with his much younger secretary, Lynn Triforis, which deeply upset Harris. The night of the killing, Harris drove from Virginia, she was motivated, to his home in Purchase, New York, to confront him or commit suicide in front of him. She later claimed that she had brought a gun with the intention of killing herself. During a heated confrontation, she shot Tarnar 4 times. Wow, not just once, 4. She immediately called for help and police found her at the scene.
So she was either a teacher or a headmistress of a girls' school, correct?
Yeah, she was a headmistress of
Foxcroft or
Madeira School in Virginia.
Madeira, yeah.
I've never heard of that.
When I was going to boarding school, I looked at Madeira, I looked at Foxcroft, and I looked at the one that I went to. It's right outside of DC.
British Columbia?
No, DC.
Oh, DC.
Yeah, it's right outside.
But when you come back, it's going to be right inside.
It's actually Dwarvish Columbia.
It's the Dwarvish of Columbia. Dude, what the...
Oh, wow. She was served 12 years. I didn't know this. I thought she died in prison. And was granted clemency by... Mario Cuomo.
Really?
Wow, that's so shocking since he was the governor then.
Yeah, I know. It's just... that's another reason to not like him.
But he's dead, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, and then we got a stupid bridge named after him by his son. Reverse nepotism.
Why is releasing her a reason not to like him?
There was a lot. I said another reason. It's just like, I think if you kill people, you die in jail,
Yeah,
He wanted her to die in jail.
Why should that be the case?
Because
if you kill strangers, you should die in jail. If you kill somebody you know well, you have a good reason usually.
What? No, she was convicted and she had a certain sentence and he commuted it.
Yeah,
she was ill.
Well, you know what? Here's the difference. He didn't get paid to do it, where like Trump is selling pardons. He did it out of, mercy. Yeah. We have a president today who literally...
look, I don't want to compare
people go.
I'm just talking about the merits
from us.
Billy. Billy, let's not get Trump involved.
Well,
I'm just talking.
I just wanted to compare it. That's all. I'm done.
No, I don't want to compare. Just I think if someone has a term, they serve it, and they serve. That's the penalty for committing a crime. And if you happen to die in jail, you die in jail.
Except that's not actually typically how it works anyway.
Yeah, I know. I get
14 years just sounds like a long actual sentence served for New York.
It's not like we're going to do it.
I literally had a friend who killed... he was a very close friend. We traveled back and forth to Israel many times. He killed his wife. He'll be out in 8 years. Shocked the whole shul. He was like one of the pillars of our shul. One day he ended up in a fit of rage killing his wife.
2 of my cousins, their dad, my aunt, she had 3 different baby daddies. Her second oldest and her youngest dad stabbed her 37 times in the chest, pushed her out of the van, ran over top to her, drug her for 5 miles, all in front of their 2-year-old son, and he only did 12 years. That man should have rotted in prison.
Yeah.
But see, there's I don't completely agree with if you kill somebody that you spend your whole life in jail either, because my dad, who was high on drugs, behind the wheel, hit somebody and killed her, severely injured the other one. And he did 5 years, but my dad is a completely changed man. He came out, he's got a degree, he's got an associate's degree, he is running his own business, he bought 2 cars and a house within 2 years. Granted, the house has to be completely redone, because it's just bare bones, but still, he's working on doing that. He is 6 years sober. almost 7 years sober. Next month will be 7 years. Mind you, it's just as easy to get drugs in jail or prison as it is to get drugs on the street. A lot of people don't know this, but it is. So this has completely changed his life and the way that he looks at things. So I can't say that everybody should spend their entire life in jail. Like, I don't think my dad should have, and I'm glad that he didn't. But
Captain, I'm not saying their entire life, just the sentence that they received by a judge.
What was the sentence she received?
Hold on, I got it here. I think 15 years to life, which I never understood. What does it mean, a certain number of years to life? Like, and in New York, people end up...
I mean, you're eligible for parole. I mean, it seems like in New York...
After 15 years.
After 15 years, but a lot of states it's lower than that, too.
Well...
But it sounds like she only got a year off.
Yeah. This guy, Jules Wright, he took a plea bargain because his kids didn't want to testify in front of him. And I believe he got 12 years to life, and he'll be out 2/3, like, I think 8 years, which is coming up rather rapidly. Apparently it was due to her health issues and her positive contributions in prison education.
Yeah, they probably let her out so we didn't have to pay for her cancer treatment.
Guys, this is streaming right now.
What's streaming?
Our room. I wish the stream had cancer.
You wish what?
Or the streamer.
Yes, sir.
Is he on Tinder still?
Why, you want to swipe right on him? Set him up, like, go to this place, I'll meet you there.
And Jakob, check your text messages.
Okay. Sorry, I haven't been looking. Seeing anything?
Taylor.
I don't recognize
Taylor Swift.
You know, Saturday I'm going to be listening to a whole lot of Taylor Swift.
It's not only do you have to like have that, kind of be intelligent enough to do it, but you have to be willing to do all of that work. And it's just unfortunate, but I just think the average person, or the vast majority of Americans, they don't really have that in them.
It's true.
It's some of her earlier work, actually.
It is.
Second album.
Does anyone know the person without any friends in the audience? Is it not Edmund?
Yes, it is Edmund. Yes,
It is.
It's John.
He just switched screens on.
Yeah, so he's not.
No, I'm not talking about Anonymous. I'm talking about the person Drenton.
Because he came up before, and we said we had to talk for a few minutes. He seemed nice.
No, Edmund is a non.
And you can't tell the friends in a non. Sometimes the owner of the house, or the owner of the room, the one person who started, is not in the upper left screen.
Hey, Elle, welcome back.
It depends if the person left. So if you
I gotta lock it.
PTR, back up again.
It's time to go. I gotta get us out the churches, make some heads and fly OT for broke, but I can't like it no.
I'm going to take a break and get a haircut.
Who said check your text messages?
TG.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay, now but explain. Sorry, I was confused.
But don't really say anything now because of you know who.
Yeah, no.
Got it.
I reported you know who again.
Me too.
I also changed the name of the room so when they review it, they'll understand that this has been communicated.
Oh yeah.
It's I'm hearing it double because I'm watching him right now, and I'm hearing it here.
Turn off the music. Listen. Oh, I guess I can't do that. They can't change the sound of battle versus Anderson. I don't know if the
I just
iPhone.
closed it, but he's definitely streaming.
Yeah, and because we're actually going there to report him, he's tripled his listener.
What, 5?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, what a no-life loser.
It's amazing how worthless everyone is. Okay, we're gonna try to find one to set it and forget it.
Hi, Jeff. My mom and wife are looking for you. Hey, Gigi. Oh, yeah? My wife and mom are saying hello. They're looking for their boyfriend, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff is my mother's and wife's boyfriend. So, and you guys know. I just wanted to let everybody know. You know, we know each other quite well. I mean, he's not like
that Nation of Immigrants rhetoric. You don't hear that talk until like after the 60s. That's like a relatively new thing in America society, talking about we're a nation of immigrants. You don't hear that talk in no newspapers pre-1960. We're a nation of immigrants.
Yeah, it was kind of.
That was Kennedy. When Kennedy wrote that book, We're a Nation of Immigrants, that's when everybody.
He's not even the one who wrote it, by the way.
Yeah, I
That
don't
was
think he did write
ghostwritten.
it, but yeah, it was ghostwritten. Yeah.
Do you know who ghostwritten for him? It was the ADL. They were. So with the 1965 Immigration Act, which, you know, before then we had a nation of origin quota.
1965. I thought it was 1968.
No, 1965.
Oh,
That was the Hart-Celler Act.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, okay.
We had our Immigration Act limited almost all of our immigration from Europe or to Europe, and it really prioritized Northwestern Europeans. And in 1965, Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Hart-Celler Act, and that opened up that basically allowed immigrants from everywhere in the world to come here. And a bunch of things happened at the same time. They ended up getting rid of the Bracero programs, where it was like guest worker permits.
Even though the Bracero program was a good program.
Yeah, it was. And so now all of a sudden you had Mexicans just flooding in illegally.
It solved for the remittances issue.
Yeah.
In a way that was like super healthy. Right? Like currently we don't tax remittances. Right? Like you come and you're not here legally, you send money back as a remittance. The US government gets no percentage of tax out of that. I think people should be allowed to send remittances. I simply think the United States government should tax you on the remittance you send. Now, obviously, if you're poor and you're sending back like all your savings, I don't want very much money from you. I'd like enough money to have like your
have some skin in the game, but not enough money for those folks to like, hey, do I have to choose to do this or eat tomorrow?
No,
So it should be one of those things where folks at the very bottom of the ladder end up paying less, and folks at the top of the ladder have more disposable income. End up contributing a bit more in that way. I know that sounds very liberal, but
no, I agree with it. I think so. Basically, the ADL Ghosts wrote this book because they had been long advocating. They were basically spearheading the what was that Immigration Act, and so that book was the kind of, I guess you could say in a way, propaganda to get people to embrace opening up the country to other people. And
there's also, as Dominic Stanzioni likes to constantly remind me, the sanctuary movement in the late 60s and early 70s, which is a combination of like farther to the left Latin and South American political figures combined with the Catholic Church. And it essentially encouraged migration from all over to the United States. If I'm recalling the explanation correctly,
like Central and South America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so you had like communist priests there.
Yeah, well, as well as I do, I don't know if this is where you live, but like where I live, Catholic Charities does a ton, and it's been doing a ton on the border longer than I've been alive.
Yeah, Catholic Charities of Arizona is the main. Biden was here; they were the ones that were getting you your plane tickets and all of the, the phones, all of that shit.
Sister Norma Pimentel does it, but I swear to you, she is on the left-hand side, but for folks that have nothing, she genuinely does do God's work. They provide them. Actually, I can't. I was going to say they provide them with a certain standard, but I've never been to a Catholic charity immigration center, so I can't tell you. I was going to compare it to something else I did. But yeah, Catholic Charities is like one of the main funders. And Dominic's point was the Marxist priests and the Catholic Church kind of got together to encourage this kind of stuff. It sounds conspiratorial when I explain it. When he explains it, it doesn't sound conspiratorial.
No, you're correct, because they did. There was this huge movement. It's like liberation theology, and they saw the.
There we go. Yeah.
The exploitation of the Latin Americans, which did happen to an extent, and they were kind of in like places like Guatemala, for example, where they had a civil war. I mean, they did have like a very exploitative upper class that was, there was basically no hope for these people.
As exploitative as the Mexican upper class?
Probably worse.
I always measure the snobbishness against the Mexican upper class.
Mexicans, yeah, I get what you mean by like wealthy or upper class Mexicans carry themselves in a way that they're a lot snottier than like our upper class or wealthy people, because they're at least taught to be humble, whereas these people aren't.
It's not just that; it's that they look down their nose at them.
Yeah.
And they have the like old Spanish justification: you're at the bottom and you deserve to be at the bottom. Don't get me wrong; like our rich people do that to a certain extent too. But like the Mexican upper class, like Carlos Slim, Oviedo Champo has donated more money to the country of Mexico than Carlos Slim. Those who are unaware, Carlos Slim is a Mexican telecom magnate.
For a while.
Yeah, Latin America classes was a total different game. I agree with Marshall on that one, man. And it's like family based too. How snobby they are.
Just they call it a granola factory. It's like, if you get like a position of power or money, since they're so family oriented and they're like their conception of a family, it's a lot broader. So, involve cousins, aunts, uncles, all of that stuff, in-laws. They'll basically hook everybody up with so they can get a piece of the pie. And it's ultimately they're really good. It's a really good thing that they're family oriented the way they are, but it also creates a shit ton of corruption because they're expected to
hire their family.
Yeah, exactly.
They're expected to hire the compadre.
There's no upper mobility.
That is one of the, I think, chief good criticisms. I wish Renee were here. Renee is a combination Swiss, Mexican, and so he and I always end up having good debates about Mexico. But yeah, because of where I live, I mean, I'm sure you encountered this growing up too, but like Mexican nationals growing up were some of the most classist people I've ever run across in my life.
Just I worked here. I worked a couple stores in the mall here at Scottsdale Fashion Square, that's where they don't really have any malls in Sonora, so a lot of them, they'll come up here or fly up here from the state of Sonora, usually Hermosillo, and they're just I mean we would always joke about them. They do treat everybody like they're the help, and it was just like really strange because there's a lot of wealthy people in Scottsdale, but we just never you don't see Americans ever carry themselves that way. And I can only imagine how much it would suck to live there.
In Arizona, before they went back across the bridge, well, y'all don't have a bridge, but before they went back across the border, they rip all the shit out of their packages too. When I was growing up, super rich Mexican nationals used to get everything from the store, go outside with a shopping cart, tear everything out of every box they bought, and stick it back in their car, and then leave the box, and literally all the trash, every bit of trash they could possibly fucking leave, and you knew it was a rich Mexican the larger the louder they ended up being. Mexico still has that old kind of Spanish-style classism, the encomienda system, in a real way.
I would say they also have some of the tackiest. I remember they were just very label obsessed.
I know what you're talking about.
It's kind of frowned upon with wealthier people here.
So I know exactly what you're talking about because I was watching the news. Really, I was watching the news 2 days ago with a buddy of mine with the lady that cleans my house on Univision, and that came up. It was a jacket that had Ralph Lauren on the back and a Lamborghini logo and a Polo logo. It's shit people.
It's so tacky.
Exactly. I was about to say it's shit people in the United States wouldn't be caught dead in. They're top of that fucking list are jackets that have tons of expensive car decals. What the fuck is the point? Now, granted, it's different. For example, the last campaign I worked, I got a vest. One of the big things in Mexican politics is not campaign shirts, it's campaign vests. And then they fucking, everybody wears the little funky looking vest when they go knock on people's doors. Granted, you can't do the same shit you do in America. You knock on the wrong person's door, they'll shoot you.
That's really funny is, whenever an American, accidentally leaves a handgun or, ammunition in their car and they drive across the border, they get, a few years in prison in Mexico. But, I don't know how many times I've been in just Nogales across the border, and you'll see people, you can see them handguns imprinting in their shirts. You can, it's kind of well known that there's criminals everywhere with guns. But it's so, how selectively enforced it is. The first time I remember as an adult, it was actually at a strip club when I was 18, and just seeing so they turned the lights on, and these guys had, some of them were police officers with cheap laminated badges, and they had the military with them, and I guess because it's on the border, they were just searching some of the Mexicans, but the one guy that was asking if we wanted any cocaine or anything, he shakes hands with them and doesn't get searched, but all of the other Mexicans get searched. They told Americans to stay seated. They weren't allowed to search us. But yeah, it's just like it's just a bizarre, corrupt place.
You hear what happened? This would have been before the election. But remember when those 3 kids went into Mexico from Texas, got kidnapped, and they all got killed?
Yeah.
Okay. Fucking, I guess it's Oviedo's nephew or uncle. No. This happens before El Mayo gets turned in, like turns himself in, or gets turned in. So El Mayo was still in Mexico, still in Sinaloa at the time. And the cartel found the low-level pushers that did it, killed them, mutilated their bodies, brought them to the bridge, dumped them in a pile with an 8.5 by 11 computerized written note, like Times New Roman, that read in Spanish something to the effect of, "Hey, it was us that killed them. We really fucked up. Here are the folks that did it. We're so sorry." And implicitly in that is, please don't send the 1st Marine Division to kill us all.
Yeah, I saw how they were they left him handcuffed in front of the police or whatever.
I mean, the cartels don't want any beef with the U.S. military. They're not interested in that shit. That's why they've never gotten into the fucking terrorism game.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. There's still there are coyotes that are they do bring in terrorists, but it's one of the reasons they have stayed out of that for such a long period of time. Because they know the U.S. government will come in and fucking kill them all.
Well, that's why cartels generally avoid targeting Americans in general, because the last thing they want is international attention. Doesn't mean that there's dipshits that, lower level people that will, kill an American, on occasion. I don't know. That place, Mexico's just scary. I haven't been down there in a while. I don't have any desire.
The only thing I know, can I jump in on the conversation? One thing I know about Mexico, from my friend was telling me, was that they do a lot of stem cell therapy over there. Illicit, I guess you say, stem cell therapy over there from Americans. You guys ever heard about it?
I didn't hear the last part of what you said, was under. You're gonna have to repeat. Sorry.
Stem cell therapy. Stem cell. You know what a stem cell is?
Yeah, it's well, yes and no. Yes, I know what it is. No, I can't define it.
Stem cells are basically cells that can help repair a lot of your bodily cells, regardless of how damaged they are. So they're basically like the biological, we could say a biological cure, but they're types. So there's adult stem cells like the one you and I have, which are really grown, so they're not as potent as they say. And then there's young embryonic stem cells, which are found in children and babies. A friend of mine once told me that in Mexico, they collect a lot of the placentas and the embryos from pregnant women, and they store a lot of their stem cells. And basically, a lot of you Americans, you go there because it's cheaper to get stem cell therapy there, because you get those stem cells, like young stem cells, because they have a higher possibility of curing a lot of your diseases if you have them. Funny enough, a lot of people don't know that 3 people were cured of HIV were using stem cell therapy to do it.
Yeah, that's part of the Dallas Buyers Club, right? That movie?
Yeah.
I think we done with Matthew McConaughey. It's one of his much better roles. We saw a quick question. I don't think I've ever asked you this. What'd you go to school for? Or you do whatever you do now?
I studied electrical engineering. It's just something I've always known about stem cells because of my high school math teacher. When she was pregnant, she used to say, I'm going to store my placenta, so in case I break my spine, I'm going to use this and whatever. So that's when I really got interested, and then I realized there's an entire hidden industry around this. But yeah, man, I don't know if you know this billionaire, American billionaire, Larry Ellison. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah, he donates significantly to political campaigns. I can't tell you exactly how much and to whom, but he's a funder.
Larry Ellison is, I don't say you heard it from me, but it said that he is one of the largest stem cell, he owns a stem cell laboratory there in Mexico and in his island, which is why his skin, if you look at Larry Ellison, he does not look his age. I don't give a fuck, that's the one.
Like, why are you a bitch? I don't know. I'm wondering. I'm having thoughts of like, why are you such a little bitch? Yeah, damn. That's the long and short of it. Why? Why? Goo is loud for that. Goo. Unless your message good. T got an army of scared people. Now everybody's scared because nobody's speaking up. Yelling. Jump. Look at Dr. Seuss go. God forbid you live in the real world. You know. How many? This nigga writes so many short stories every day. Well, you should be rich by now. You know. To me, my thing is like, if we were like related, you know what I'm saying? Or like we were cool, or we were related, or something like that. Like where I'd actually give a fuck. I have to say cool, and you turn, something must have happened to you. Because I swear to God, I just don't like people like this. Because I just don't like a punk motherfucker. I really don't. I got people with all different types of personalities. One thing I can't do is just a punk ass bitch. It never works for me. At all. I have friends all over the world. Okay? But a punk ass motherfucker? Ugh. I cut somebody off. And I have, that I've known for a long time, just for moving like that. I just don't like it. It's not my thing. I don't think it was that damn bad to where you gotta create it in real time just to be, truthful and honest or solid or to have integrity. It's just too crazy. It was hot out there. Tricky. All this up. All right, so we could do a couple things here if you guys want. We can do like a review of something, but I don't want to be all over the place, but it has to be honest. Honest against me. I mean, honest whether it's against me or honest whether it's against him. It's just honest. So that's me signing the contract. Okay, no feelings involved. T, you have to be like this. You are like this, and you have to accept it. I'm cool with that. So, but I don't know. So that's what I'd like. But I don't think it's gonna matter. Because it can go one of two ways. Hey, T. I don't agree with concrete, and then concrete's gonna say, hey, you're here's another short story, as to why this guy is false. He's just a simp. There's always a way out. Or T, I do agree with concrete, and then it is what it is. So you gotta understand that. So that's the same. But it doesn't. My point is, no matter what, you're just gonna write one of your short stories to say why it isn't the case. There's no point. Yeah. So I don't know how much fun. My bad. Woo! Hey, Koo, are you there?
Yeah, I came back. I was in a phone call.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna ask you something. I wasn't looking. I was only looking in the chat, so I didn't know who was here, who's not here. I was just reading. But I don't. I was gonna ask you a question. I forgot. Hold on. Yeah, since you might not have been here when I asked.
What were you gonna ask? You don't remember?
I can't remember.
Oh.
I said it earlier, but I can't, because of when the chat's open, I can't see like the stage. I didn't know if you're here or not. You know, I just read. I said it, but I forgot anything.
Yeah. I just got into it with my cousin because I don't know. I feel like I don't know if it's the hormones, but like ever since I've been pregnant, it's just because I'm typically like a very active person. Like I'm a physically fit, active person. Like if I go over someone's house as a visitor, I'm cooking. If she has kids, I'm taking the kids out to the park. Like we're doing activities, we're painting, we're doing hella shit, right? But I'm pregnant with twins. So it hurts to even sit up for over 5 minutes because it's hella pressure on my back and it's hella pressure. So I can't even stand or sit up for 5 minutes. I have to be laying down most of the time. And I told her this, and now she's acting like she doesn't want me to come over. And I just feel like, oh, so because I'm not useful to you, because I'm not going to be able to help you out with your kid as much, now you don't want me to come over. You fucking bitch.
That's terrible.
Yeah, my whole family has been treating me like shit. I hate everyone in this house.
Yeah,
I hate everyone.
have those babies beat their ass.
I am. Like, there's so many people that deserve these fades. Like, I'm so serious. And I'm going no contact because how you treat a woman during her pregnancy is very traumatizing. It could be, like, very connecting. It could be like, oh, my God, they treated me so good. I love them forever. Or I hate them forever. And I hate most of these people forever.
Damn,
It's
son,
so tough.
where'd you find this?
Because especially the hormones and everything is kind of exacerbated. So you know what? I would just do a little, little meditation, just breathe in, fully. The whole, fill up your lungs in and out, slowly, and just don't worry about it. Because a couple things. The one you already said, it's impactful. So that's, I'm not gonna do that. And then two, it's regulating, because. So that way you have you can ensure your view is balanced. And it's not. I'm saying that it's not. I'm not saying that at all. You seem pretty balanced to me, but you know how it is when you're pregnant. So let me make it clear again. I get you, but I always like to do those checks in case. So in any case, right, there's solution period. Disconnect from it. Gosh, I wish I had I remembered I had a question for you, and I was excited to ask you because you're pretty balanced. You're really balanced. I wanted to make sure I gotta scroll up and see if it sparks again.
Was it about concrete? No offense, concrete.
Well, the whole thing really. I was reading only the messages. I was thinking. Concrete, are you here?
Hello, how you doing?
How's it going, Concrete? You know what I like? Hold on.
Oh shit, my bad.
That nigga fried chicken.
You're cracking my eggs. No, it's early there. Is it? It's fried chicken.
I am not frying chicken. Y'all are fucking hell.
I'm about to eat some.
No, I thought you were cracking eggs and making breakfast or something.
You were correct, T. The nigga talking about frying chicken is crazy.
Look, I just made 4 eggs.
Yeah. So, I do have a question for you, Concrete. And you could just ignore it or whatever, it's really not that deep. But I hate prefacing my questions because I don't know how not to sound like the divisive shit to people. Best I got. So basically, my only kind of like questions. Like, I'm wondering, right? So I shared like a bunch of my thoughts. What I'm wondering though is like, is it performative? Now, yeah, of course, it's going on the assumption that my thoughts are like not flawed, even though I always leave room for that. You always make fresh. But like in the case that they are, right? Is your behavior like performative? You know, and we can think of it on a small scale, like what's the last like spat? Oh yeah, okay, fine. So the hey, what percentage of the romantic relationship involves psychology? That's what you're asking. And I know a lot of people were talking at the same time, you know, and the stages is hard to manage that. You're cut. They cuts me off to ask a question. You cut in to ask this. I'm doing that. You know, it's not really anything to really, you know, make a big deal out of. I did not, you know. But I'm setting the scene in case you don't remember. Lots of people talking. How much does psychology play? Panda says, hey, is that a Doug question? Is that a Doug question? Is that a Doug question? I'm trying to get the statement. Like, you know, so, of course, we're not going to get that's not efficient because that's offensive to people. You know, to me, I would say, yeah, it's a fucking Doug question. But I need to ask it, you know. Can't get that out of anybody. So, there's a back and forth, because whether or not the outside can say yes, it's a duh. Of course it's a duh question. Is it an obvious question? Yes, who cares? No. Of course some level of psychology is involved. Gives a fuck. Just answer yes or no so we can get past it. It's not going to be the first duh question. It's not going to be the last duh question. And it's not a major offense to ask a duh question. Right. That's my problems when I manage the fucking stages. It's just like, people, it's black people to be honest with you. Sorry. Just find some stuff on stupid, silly shit. Gosh damn it. It's so hard to manage. It's an ethnic skill set. Fine. So then I go, yes, it's duh, please, all that back and forth. A lot. The answer's a lot. And like, answer my question. A lot, you know, like that. So you're all hyped up, and I guess it's because the duh back, I don't know what the fuck is going on. But either way, what's a lot? And I'm like, what's a lot? A significant amount, a significant portion. What's a significant portion? I'm like, first of all, your tone's already fucked up, number one. Okay, which is crazy, but it's like, whatever, yeah. I go, what format do you want then? You know, because I don't, you know, vast majority. I don't know what else to tell you. These are my thoughts about some high-level conversation, some random question. Hey, is psychology, how much do you think psychology is involved, or whatever, however you ask it, in a romantic relationship? I don't know if you're looking for me to vomit out some digits, okay, in some kind of format. We should have made it clear, you know? So I can tell you, I don't know. But my guess is that, of course, there's involvement. Now you want a measurement. Sure, there's a lot, you know. And then now you want some precision, and I'm just like, this is crazy. So then, so that's more annoyance. What happened afterwards? I know that third year. What happened? There's a fallout after that, of course. Oh, never mind. That was between. No.
There was a fallout. You're right.
Yeah, I thought I was trying to get one between me and him. That wasn't between me and him.
No.
You're him. I'm tripping.
Yeah, that was.
I'm like, no wonder I can't land on anything. I'm like, well, it's like something. I'm like, I can't remember that conversation. That's funny as fuck. Yeah. Fuck, man.
We lost it at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I went through all of that. Yeah, because to be honest with you, it's like.
And Panda kicked it off. It was more so just because when you asked him for those same things, you never did it.
Let me say, straight up, I don't have, like I said, I don't have no problem in that. You know, y'all shut me the fuck down there. Y'all, look, I get it. Let me talk to you. I'm not gonna talk about this shit for real. Like, but for you, I just want to make clear, as long as, and I think you heard me the other day, I just want to ask you guys, you know, hey, this shit goes on too long. You guys said too long. It's too long then, you know? I lost that vote, and I made it clear. Okay, you guys, you know, you got it. I was just asking if we could find a sweet spot sometimes. And y'all, I don't know if y'all were just too, like, in the zone, you and Panda.
No shade,
I don't
but
think y'all
I
could've
pulled
hear-
back. I checked the replay.
Okay, you pulled back.
I heard you. I heard.
But
I
you
was
said
like,
you
I
denied.
get
You
it.
said but you vetoed my sweet spot first. And so
Yes,
basically,
I was first to say no. You were like,
so-
are y'all not enjoying this? I'm like,
That's-
no.
Okay, I just want to make sure it wasn't just like a not that. Like I was asking y'all, look, can there be a sweet spot, you know, in it where it's like okay, like just give me a time limit sometimes, right? Yes, this is annoying. We'll take it for 2 minutes. That is shut the fuck up afterwards. We can't take it. What am I gonna say about it? You know? Oh no, I'm sorry, I readdressed it. The back and forths, right? Because when I'm on a mission to get the you know, like the conversation rolling, you know, remember I gotta do I just wanted to shit on wheels, right? You know, when I say automate the conversation, that means, you know, get the shit fluid enough to run itself, and then it's hands off. When I'm having trouble doing that, you know what I'm saying? If things get distracted, that was my only gripe. Believe me, I don't have no issue, you know, with the response, but just the amount of time it took because it throws things off way too far. That was my only gripe. I lost that shit. Y'all said no, shit, shut the fuck up. Cool, whatever. I just wanted to ask you, just in case, like, just as a final hoorah. Like, did you mean it, Corey, when you said no?
Yeah, no, I absolutely meant it. I absolutely meant it. The no was, and I was trying to type today when y'all were just talking, because I'm like, yo, why am I enjoying this so much? And it was because you were responding to Concrete, who was typing in the chat. I think it's just hearing him. It might be a tonal thing, but everybody yelling at the same time, and him literally just being so loudly ignorant off mic, it just... and it goes for so long, like he's dodging your questions. You're like, you know how we are in here. We're very like, we're stuck. We're gonna keep asking the same thing. So it's like, oh yeah.
This is why I had to ask you, did you mean it? You know, I got this like relentless bitch, like give it out. But listen, you were here to shut it down, and I just didn't feel heard. You know what I'm saying? I did not feel heard. You know, because like, yeah, that was the point of the time limit I was asking for. Yeah, just give it a time limit. So, yes, because why?
Which
I think it is agitating. Wait.
That's how I asked you.
All that is agitating. Okay. So let's listen. All his voice is agitating. So if you guys are talking back and forth, it's very agitating. 2 minutes. So it throws me off track if I'm trying to do something in a minute. But if you guys go for long, and I have sensory issues. That's playing the victim right there. See that Concrete? All right. So if it's going too long, right? You know, it's annoying to your ears. Hold on. You know what else is annoying? Right.
Background noise.
Yeah. Somebody's house.
Fucking Mexicans. What the fuck?
Yeah. People here.
So you guys said no, great, but I was trying to achieve the same thing that you are liking right now. So that's my only break.
Wait, what am I liking? Oh, but see, I like you though, because you were being it was going somewhere. When he's on the stage, it can't go anywhere because he's not allowing you to go anywhere. Like, you moved so much. I took a shower, ironed my clothes, made breakfast. Nobody else talked. Like, it was just you reading his comments. You killed that shit. And I was like, yo, you killed that. And then I realized...
I was on the elevator a little bit, so I forgot. I don't know what your first answer was, but listen, let me make sure that the question's clear. I just thought... So I asked y'all, remember, to shorten the back and forth, although I agree with all of your responses, right? And I was about to tell you why I agree, because it's very obvious, so fuck it, you know? I agree with you and Panda wholeheartedly, because, like, that shit is OD annoying, the way he does. Like, it's unnecessary, it's annoying, it's like, and why are you hyped, nigga? Damn. You know, it's like, you know, that you just agitating, man. You annoying, really, you got help. Shout out to whoever can stand it. Okay. So fine. I know it's a lot. Like literally, you hear him. Fine. So with the back and forth, you know, that's all so extra agitating. So you're like, why am I enjoying this? Because I'm not really talking about shit. Because he's in the chat, and I'm on stage. And the way he does it is like anxiety inducing, it's annoying, right? So you don't want to hear it, that counts as you not want to hear it. And then when I ask for a time limit, that's me not wanting to hear it. So we kind of were fighting for the same thing. So you shut me down. You and Pan.
Wait, can you hear me?
And now you're not listening.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So no, the time limit thing, I absolutely agree with you with, but my question back to you in that moment was, what's the time limit? That's what I was saying. Like, what is it? And then I went off to today because I was just like, we've already got these fucking samples.
Yeah, no.
I was like, we've already fucking got it. So it's like we're doing this shit for the 5th fucking time of listening to this nigga give us some fucking samples of the same fucking shit.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I guess. I explained myself with that too, right?
But no, I'm just saying right now it was layers. So while I do agree, I want to be clear, I agree with you on that. Like, I'm down for the time limit. I definitely, even in today, as long as it's able to be heard and understood, I don't have an issue with shit we talk about it here. I just hate it when it's not even nothing being heard or understood, because it's just rah 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 rah. The moon is cheese. I'm sorry, I made that dog bark. I just made that dog bark.
Whose dog is that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's somebody else's dog.
Mm-hmm. He did not like that I came out here barking though. Man.
Yeah. So okay, cool. We're gonna so good. I'm taking it to appeals after the court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to figure out a time limit.
Yeah.
2 minutes, I think, is good. To be honest.
Ooh, that's a lot of screaming.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of screaming. I like it.
Mm-hmm. 2 minutes of it is. But.
Like this is gonna be the bang clause or something like that. Like the. How long can you bang? Because this is not a bang room, right? Right? So,
right?
This ain't a bang room. I love your slogan, Joe.
Y'all get annoyed, like, agreeing with each other? Like, or, I'm sorry, y'all don't get bored, like, agreeing with each other? Like, how do you grow?
Wait, what? Aren't we talking about a disagreement right now between us?
Crazy, you see how crazy it is?
Like, what the fuck?
He just recreates reality.
We're literally talking about a disagreement that we had right now. Like, of course not. Of course not. What do you want to talk about?
Oh my god.
Not right now. We're not going to talk about what we're talking about right now. That's great.
It's where you love to give your criticism, right? You love to sit on top of your mountain looking down on the comments.
Hold on for a second.
When it happens to you. Weird.
Mute me. Somebody mute me.
Is he low or is it me? I took my headphones out 3 times.
It might be me too.
No,
he's low. He's low.
He's low. Thank you. Yeah.
What about now? Am I still low?
Oh, perfect.
Am I still low?
You're fine. You're good. Sounds good.
Yeah, so yeah, like, don't you get bored just agreeing with each other and like listening to each other, patting each other on the back? It seems a little
This is what I mean by like. This is what I mean by.
So yes or no? Just answer the question. No, just answer the question.
Are you able to?
Do you get bored? Yes, but I don't want you to run away from the question.
Do that.
Don't run away from the question.
Do that. I would never run away.
Don't be afraid of the question.
I would never do that.
Let's grow a little bit. Shall we?
I would never do that. So hold on for a second, please. Let me talk to Corey right quick. Do you see what I'm talking about by recreating reality? I literally just addressed you.
Oh, this is fucking boring. Do you hear the yelling?
Don't run away. You better not run away.
Because this shit is boring, bro.
He's gonna run away.
I'm gonna run. I am
concrete. I hate it.
But don't bore me. Look. Don't bore me.
Don't bore me with my lies.
No. Look.
I can't get away with my lies. I'm in a corner now.
Look. I'll entertain you.
Did I call this out? The second he's put in a corner and has to face the truth, he's out of here. See, that's the reason why I went through that boring ass dissertation through the chat.
You thought I was gonna
that whole thing.
But it didn't work. I stayed through the entire shit.
I'm still
anyway, so here's the thing.
No. This is
you got me.
You're gonna run out of the chat. You're not gonna be here the next 5 minutes.
Listen, because I had to endure that bullshit to like. Thank you, I appreciate you.
So what I want you to do is I want you to just answer the question as succinctly and as honest as possible. Don't you get bored agreeing with your homies? Does that not bore you occasionally? Yes, sir?
And A, it doesn't happen. Therefore, I cannot determine whether it bores me. It has to be true in order to answer that question.
No, well, you can just do a conceptual analysis. You don't need to actually have done it to imagine how boring it could be for you and your homies to just consistently agree with each other.
If it were to be true, I would be bored as fuck. Yes.
Okay, cool. So you can do the work. Okay, that's
Thank you for telling me how to not.
Well, why aren't you brave enough to admit it? Because you sit here in this little room with your homies who you've obviously intimidated into like being very, let's say,
you scared me, T.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, you've obviously bullied the room into like agreeing with you on a majority of issues. It's probably only to the point where you become totally unbearable or glaringly wrong that they have the courage to like disagree with you. And that's it is what it is, man.
Concrete, if I may.
Go ahead, bro.
I just wanted to say, I think you're onto something. I don't agree with you, but I do think it would be really fucking funny if we need to figure out some cues or some shit just to tweak niggas out. But if we all just really agreed, like all the time, like with T, like just one day, like whatever T says, we all just come off and we're like, yes, like everybody. We're just strong in agreement. I think that would make a funny ass replay. So I do think he's hilarious for even thinking of that shit because I've never heard it here. But I'm with it. I'm definitely down.
He's a playwright.
Oh yeah, he's visual as fuck. I can just that imagination be working, bitch. God damn.
You know what's so interesting is that I've seen so many people who are close inside the group have this same sort of camaraderie, and then later on get like rejected.
You're talking about Moxie?
Man, the list goes on and on, bro.
Name some others.
Mir, what's that?
Mir still comes in here.
Let's do one at a time.
Kirko was just here.
No, yeah, we're all gonna come back because it's entertaining.
No, that's not true. Moxie has not come back. Again, I'm only naming the ones that don't come back.
Oh, okay. I'm just
if they come back, they're like you. It's like you swear you hate it here, but yeah, here you are on the porch. Like,
I'm not your homies though.
You're not my homie at all. I don't know whose friend you are, but you're somebody's.
None of these niggas homies. I am just here for the entertainment, right? Well, this is an entertainment app. This is not like life. Anyway, it's not weird because it doesn't cost me anything, right? It's a click of the button. Beep, 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 beep. Here I am in La La Weirdo Bizarro World, and then when Bizarro World like reaches its maximum capacity for tolerance, I'll just move to another world, and then another world, and then I'll do some other stuff, watch a documentary, till the day is over, and then, it is what it is. But,
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead, man, you got it.
Somebody wrote a chat, she literally just addressed the disagreement she had with Corey. So, what I was saying earlier, right, was just matching everything. I think I covered a lot of, everything that I'm really
Yes, of course you're always right. Your psychoanalysis is never wrong.
You don't want to talk to them.
I think you should have just called me a faggot.
Why don't we engage? Why don't we engage instead of you, constantly... Okay, why don't you engage with my questions as opposed to constantly reinforcing your own fucking beliefs? Yes, you're right. You're always right. You don't have to tell us that you're right when we know you're right. And that you're right, nobody's going to disagree with. So just constantly doing it, I know, but you don't need to talk to them because they know you're right too. They're not going to disagree that you're not right.
Okay.
So telling them that you're right is redundant and boring.
I'm talking to only you.
You were talking to them, now you're talking to me. Go ahead.
I'm talking to you. I've been talking to you the whole time till you cut me off, right? I said, can I ask a question? You said yes, and I began asking the question. And
the question was directed to them, though.
You wasted time because I'm only talking to you. That is the issue there with the imagination station bullshit.
Have you ever been married? Serious question.
No, don't ask me my business.
Oh, no, you don't want to answer that? That's cool. I've never been married. I was just asking. Because married people have to make a commitment,
and they have to be there through thick and thin. And it sounds like you want a commitment, but you're not willing to reciprocate.
Just like
you sound like you. One second, I'm gonna land right here. You sound like. Calm down. That doesn't mean I don't have intuition. Doesn't mean I can't tell what. Oh my God! Just calm down. You're being so defensive. Calm down. Calm down.
After you're done emoting and disagreeing,
it's not an emotions and analysis. It's not emoting. I'm not talking about my feelings. I'm doing an analysis.
Don't cut me off anymore because I had a question.
Don't cut me off.
Okay. Don't cut me off anymore because I had that question and now we have to go through the whole.
But I'm gonna say this real quick and then I'll try not to cut you off. Dragging it out, bro.
I don't want to go through this whole thing. Yeah, you're not equipped for this. I'm going to get back to talking to Corey if it doesn't work. We'll give it another try. Go ahead.
Okay, where was I? So, you seem like a person that wants a commitment, but you aren't willing to acquiesce to certain requirements that make a commitment possible. And that's got to be a really tough push and pull, tug of rope that you're playing. It's an emotional push and pull because you want it. You want a commitment, but you're not willing to do what you know you need to do to have a commitment, which is to have like some mutual form of respect and decency and, an even playing field. You want the dominance and you want the commitment, and that only works for people who I guess they're willing to bide their time, and they have like an idea that, okay, if I give her what she wants, eventually, if I do it for long enough, she'll give me what I want. But unfortunately, with this type of person, they have an insatiable appetite for more. So once she's got you in a place of subservience, and you're not on an equal playing field, she won't tire of that. She'll never reciprocate. Even if it looks like she has the capacity to reciprocate, which she does, she never actually will, because it's a vulnerability that she's dealing with, right? She doesn't want to give up any vulnerability because then it is going to expose her to like hurt, and that's what's happening. So it's not that you're not a nice person. It's not that you're not worth reciprocation. It's that you're dealing with somebody who fears openness and fears reciprocity because they don't want to be hurt. Damn. Anyway.
Okay, I heard you. Not want a commitment, not willing to compromise, employee tactics as a workaround. And I also want to avoid vulnerability. No. Alright, so then that's addressed. We'll just go back to my question. So, and I was reading the message we wrote in the chat, and she goes, she literally just addressed a disagreement she had with her mod. Right? And I told Corey, I was talking about how Corey and Panda vetoed my suggestion that I thought was reasonable. They fucking said no. And I wanted to revisit it with him because I just don't understand the no. And then he explained it to me. And now we're going to revisit a compromise for something within that disagreement. Good enough, The entire thing it was ultimately just shut down, but there's a piece of it that I thought was important. It's good enough, and said we're going to revisit it and find a sweet spot. And Panda is going to be involved in that too. Too easy, So what you heard when you interrupted and you asked, hey, don't you guys get tired of agreeing with each other all the time? Who finds it odd? And I think maybe other people, and especially myself, and I'm sure Corey will realize too. So, can we just have a discussion based on a disagreement? So, of course, the question, don't you get tired of disagreeing with each other and circle jerking, blah, 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 is, you can understand how it's weird when literally disagreed yesterday. And then your question that you just added fits really cozily into this scenario because you said something about me not willing to compromise and employing different tactics as a workaround and ultimately fearing vulnerability and such and such and such. So what you heard when I addressed the disagreement, me and Corey were compromising. Okay? Okay, no to this, yes to that, we'll revisit this, but it has to be like that. That's called compromise. Okay? So you said you've never been married before, so I guess it makes sense that you don't even understand what you're trying to explain. And it's very clear if you just demonstrated it when you heard how compromising and reaching compromise and that whole process works. You were listening to it real time.
You're kind of low. You're kind of low.
When you saw us compromising and going about that, okay, those steps, you were able to recognize it, which explains why you even had the question in the first place. But you said you've never been married before, so it makes sense to me why you couldn't see what compromising looks like or identify it right from your face. You ask a question right behind it. That's compromising, okay? That's what it looks like. Just if you ever decided
can I respond?
to commit one day. Sure.
All right, cool.
So now, you never been married. That's weird. Why would you even use marriage as an example if you've never even been married yourself? That's weird.
Oh my God, look, y'all can't be both intellectual and obtuse at the same time. I think it would be a contradiction. I know y'all are smart enough to realize that people can have discussions. They can see what's necessary in marriages, like let's say a long-term relationship, and you see what it takes for you to make the long-term relationship work. Even though it's not a marriage in the technical sense, it mirrors it in many ways, right? So I don't know why we're playing that game. But if you think that that's gonna help you, okay, all right. I think you've just been dealing with a lot of people who either nod their head to all the bullshit you say, or they're not really, it is what it is. I think that's probably the most explanation.
Who are you talking to, me or
nod their head. All of y'all that run that game. Anyway, so I'm gonna just say this, which I just had an epiphany. So basically, and this is no offense to Corey. Corey is a gay man, so you compromising with a gay man, as I would presume is a heterosexual woman, is easy, and it is less, let's say, vulnerable than somebody who might be capable of, breaking your heart on an intimate level, on a relationship level. And that's really what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying that this is like happening with me. I'm saying these are traits that people take in their let's say in their platonic relationships, and they carry over obviously into their romantic relationships, right? So what I can glean from you, even on a platonic level, is that you are very apprehensive to being a partner and being a subordinate, right? And so you've structured your environment, you've tailored your environment to being a dominant force, strong personality, pretty much the boss of all these niggas in here, and that suits your emotional, let's say, emotional scheme, emotional situation. Anyway, and it's not that complicated. It's not that complicated. So, but anyway, I hope you can grow, because I do take it to be a hindrance to long-term relationships. Yeah, man, it's just like diabolical behavior that's unnecessary. So we know you're doing it in your personal life. We know if you're doing it with strangers where there's nothing of consequence on the table. When there is something of consequence, like your emotional stability, like your psyche, oh hell yeah, you're doing this times 25. You're making niggas crawl and beg and fucking all kind of wild shit. That's just crazy. And it's anyway. Yeah, you're low.
Sorry about that. I heard what you said. I have to make a correction. You said Corey is a gay man for whatever reason. No, it's not. Okay.
Sorry. I've heard him say a lot of homosexual things, so he must be bisexual, such that he's not qualified as being gay. Okay, no problem.
Okay. Then you mentioned that, so it's...
Oh, so you're saying there is a chance?
Okay. Am I...
Go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, you can't...
Be emotional, don't get emotional, just let it happen.
Well, you gotta be unmuted. I hope you can do that like I did. So no, not gay, alright? said, so it's easy to compromise, right? I'm going to make your correction because he's bisexual. Yeah, I had to take a second just to try to twist my brain to figure out your mental model, and how you think, right? So it's hard for me. It's easier to compromise with the gay man, bi man. Correction. Okay. Yeah, I just can't. I don't even understand it enough. Now, Goo mentioned how weird it was for you to bring marriage into it and disqualify yourself. That was odd, And this is because the context are just. I mean, it really just introduces a simple category error. Marriage has nothing to do with any of the interactions on here, not even remotely. Okay, fine. So I don't get it, And if I were to try to use your mental model the best I can, and I just apply to you, I guess you're it's heterosexual, right? I would have to. I can't. And so we're thinking about it as who's masculine, I'm trying my best here. I don't see. If him being a bi or what you thought was gay man, disqualifies him. So therefore, I'm thinking in a way that isn't. Doesn't fit the template of something I'd be combative in or something. I don't really know. I'm trying my best. I'm thinking that you and who you are would be in a way further bucket even. I would never, ever, 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 mess with anybody that acts like, and forgive me for this word, because I'm trying to be quick now because I know I'm thinking out loud, but it acts like a bitch, and no offense, I'm not saying that to be offensive, I'm just trying to be descriptive. When I say that, I couldn't even, like the feeling in my body when I even tried to think about it is a dead stop, hell to the no, pause, right? So that's the best I got for you there. Towards the bottom line with that is that, like, whatever mental model you think applies to you, that doesn't apply to Corey, just know that there should be different, and that his is easier to conceptualize than yours even, because you are so against my grain that I have to actually add pause at the end. All right, you think I dominate everyone? I'm not, just one more point, because you have two pieces, and then I just want to address both of your points. This is dominate, boss of everyone, such and such. So the thing is, it's another odd thing. You just addressed, actually, no, you just listened to me discussing with Corey how Panda and him shut me down yesterday. So, dominant boss of everyone, it's kind of weird. Not a dominant boss getting shut down by the other admins of the house. We're all admins here. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not about your selection process, it's about your engagement, right? So we aren't talking about the type of man that you would date or whatever. We're just talking about what it looks like for you to engage with other people. And it's not about me, because this is a pattern that's been repeated with tons of people that you've gotten along with, people that you don't get along with, right? There's this, I've noticed this a lot with certain people. They keep people at an arm's length. And I understand it. It's a defense mechanism. You don't want anybody to get too close. So you remain prickly, right? Like a porcupine, where the porcupine uses pricks as a means of defense, right? I think they're called pricks. No, prick is what? It's got to be something else. Anyway, so you misunderstood that point. Well, that's fine. Second point is, yeah, if there's things that are happening where you're open to compromising, so be it. Does that mean that you aren't a dominating asshole? Obviously, there's exceptions to rules, right? We're not talking about absolutes. We're talking about general behavior. So the difference between absolute and general is one is 100% and the other one is like 51%. Generally, you're a domineering asshole. Is that absolutely? No, of course not. Nobody's one thing. And that just speaks to another thing I wanted to talk about, is people being multifaceted. So yes, you could talk about Faye being a misandrist, and that is worthy of criticism. But you can also see that she doesn't go as down, dirty, and deep as you do, right? And so therefore, she can be misandrist in some senses, but not as bad as you in other senses.
It's almost like you got a lot of black and white thinking. If it's one thing, it can't be the other thing. And, you know, I just take that to be, since you like to use the phrase mental model, that's your mental model. Everything is one thing or another, very binary. A lot of ones and zeros, very robotic, black and white thinking. I got it. That's okay. I forgive you. But since it's the case that you are willing to investigate your thoughts and other people's thoughts, at some point I guess I'd expect more development and more like pattern recognition, so that when you see it in somebody else, you can immediately recognize the pattern in someone else at a later time. But I don't know. It seems like you're always starting over from the beginning. And I'm not trying to like, down you, but I do think part of that is a part of the performance. But okay, all right.
You mentioned you were talking about engagement, not selection. Cool. I think you said it's just how if you can see that and how I engage with different people. I think something okay to say is like, yeah, you know what, you treat people accordingly. That'd be closer to the truth, or just plainly the truth. And I think someone can actually look at that, right? Treating people accordingly. Imagine that, and then break them into categories like types. So you mentioned binary thinking and trying to be multifaceted instead. A little bit more complex, right? High level, system 2. Let's try to apply that. So, cool. You mentioned categories, right? This man versus heterosexual, so those are the categories. So, imagine treating people accordingly, right? And then still being able to categorize it, which is what you did. So it's you still being able to categorize. You treat people like this, like that. You treat people like this way. You treat people, I think that can be achieved. So I treat people that act a certain way, boom, here. I treat people that are more reasonable, here. I treat people that, come on. But believe me, it has nothing to do with your sexuality or your liability. I'll tell you that much. Okay. You did mention I don't want people being too close, which is something that I'm thinking I would guess Goo even finds weird, given that what you previously found weird, because too close, the context is throwing me off. Why would I want somebody close on the app? Why am I thinking about too close and closeness? I don't know you, never seen your face. I don't know. I know maybe the response is like I wasn't talking about me, which was going to be extra weird because we're talking about each other. So that tactic shouldn't be employed. It's going to be a waste of time, right? Arm's length, and it just begs the question: what's your preference? Where do you want to be in love in terms of proximity? Don't know. Don't care. I just want to make that clear. You dismissed the example of me when I told you that me and Corey reached a compromise. And you said, no, you're still being a dominant asshole. It doesn't take away from the fact you're still a dominating asshole. Some of the time, and then maybe the rest of the time, no, and then you migrate into the multifaceted thing, and you're trying to help me understand how people can be multifaceted. Well, thank you for that. Here's the thing with the multifaceted thing, because I think, you are pretty fluid, in how you interact, for sure. Fluid to your own convenience. When it's something you don't like, you're a dominating asshole. When it's something you do like, the person might have a heart of gold. Or when it's something that you don't like, you're a misandrous liar. When it's something that you need or you want some support in, hey, you're a good person. You're not broken and damaged. You wouldn't act like that, would you? So yeah, I can understand your fluidity. I understand it quite well. But I laughed at it earlier, so I detailed it. So that's covered. You can call it multifaceted. I call it convenient. All right. You recommended that I investigate thoughts, or you said I don't like investigating thoughts and other people's thoughts. For research purposes only, for goodness sake. That's exactly what we're doing now. This is upon my own request. Hey, Concrete, are you there? I want to ask you a question. Okay, that's what's happening now. You have the recognition issue. Okay.
No, I said you do. Don't correct me. Don't correct me.
Langston snooze, so it turns into don't correct me. But if I were to come off mic, don't cut me out, don't cut me. But he can cut me off. But I say, don't give me the same grace I gave you. Langston snooze writes in the page, she doesn't like to be corrected. So old at this point, but at least I like a good pattern. I can appreciate it because it's just so easy. That's appreciated in terms of identification, right? You wouldn't know anything about that. Your recognition is off. I just mentioned that in the previous point. Anyway, you mentioned some development expectations, and I guess for me, and I guess in short, LOL.
Alrighty, that was good. So basically, you misunderstood. You do like to investigate people's thoughts, but you aren't growing from those investigations. That's the point that I made. At least not by my lights. Seems like you still seem to be starting over every investigation. You're not building upon subsequent investigations or previous investigations for the current investigation, whatever the case. I don't even know what. Anyway, and regarding your claims of fluidity, I just take it that I don't hold a grudge. I think that's the best way to characterize it. And also, I'm dealing with the person that's in front of me, not the person that was in front of me. So the idea that I'm not going to continuously remind you of your prior events, it just means that I'm actually dealing with the moment. And I think that says a lot about you when you want to bring up the past, that you're still stuck there, right? And that just helped me have even another epiphany on psychology. Some people, and it's called arrested development, where the idea is if you had a traumatic event at a particular age, you end up your maturity level stays at that age, right? Arrested development. And I just take it that some people get stuck in the past. And some people, even though they have traumatic events at early ages or whatever, they're able to move past it, right? Through some form of catharsis, some resolution to events, some sort of forgiveness, some sort of understanding. And you move past it. Or you understand human beings. And you don't have to deal with you don't have to label the person based on their lower self, their prior self. Because guess what? Today is a new day. That person who was an asshole yesterday, they might have come to a position in their life where they say, no more. I don't want to be like that. And you know what? I don't want to fucking hold you to who you used to be. And I'm sorry if that confuses you. You don't understand how that works or why that would work. Hopefully here and now, you can understand that dealing with the person in front of you as they are in the moment is way better than holding somebody to some prior grievances that you're holding on to. Let that shit go. Which goes to my prior point, y'all niggas need therapists.
Okay, good to go. So listen, you're done. I don't know if you're looking for specific responses. They'll be in this, this final statement. I say this final statement, but if you need to, and I'm sure you will, you can go ahead and, add your thoughts or whatever. But I do think we have reached the final stages or the ending stage, or I'm pretty sure this is the final stage. We'll see in a second. Of the Langston snooze methodology. Lots and lots of writing, recreating in La La Land incorporated into this feedback, and this is age-old. I explained it in detail earlier in the chat too. Let's create the reality and let's respond to what I've created. You misunderstood this. Starting every investigation's over is what your problem actually is. You misunderstood me. I'm telling you that you start your investigations over after I just told you I like a good pattern. Now, how could I identify those patterns or be so keen on patternistic diagnostics or identification and recognition if I started over all the time? It's weird. So that's part of the Langston student methodology for recreating reality. You did speak on me saying that you were quite fluid because you're quite convenient. You say you deal with the people in front of you, don't hold a grudge. I think you deal with people that are in front of you, don't hold a grudge, and you take them as they are today. I think your behavior shows this quite clear. Whenever it's convenient for you to call somebody something, you will do that because reality is a bit harsh, so let's just make it up instead. You brought up the past, and I'm stuck in the. I brought up the past apparently, and then I'm stuck in the past. I guess I don't know. I don't know where I did that or where you didn't do it. So we're just gonna go on. Then he mentioned like Arrested Development and psychoanalysis comes right after that and all this shit. So recreating reality. We're at the final stages, people. I don't have anything meaningful to say, so I'm just gonna create it because I'm an author. Here's the length of student methodology, and here's my analysis on the shit that I vomited out. Boom, good to go. As long as I feel good, and as long as I don't have to address anything real, because that would hurt too much, I'm fine with this. I'm done. So I'm sure you will.
All right. Good stuff, T. See, we were able to get through it. Didn't get too bad. I appreciate you, man. That was all right. Still got a long way to go on your journey of growth and maturity, but good luck to you on your journey.
Here we are.
Just a joke, bro. It's just a joke. Let it go.
It just doesn't go. Still at the final stages. Like I said, it's okay.
Rohan, you there? I did want to ask you a question.
What's up?
How you doing?
Hey, what's up?
So, did you ever run a non-tech business before?
You sure that team wanna go in that direction, or are you guys done?
Yeah, we're done. I'm done with her.
Okay. Then I'll see you later. Maybe next time.
Hold on, let me ask Rohan a question. Don't gatekeep.
I don't want to be bored. But you you have options.
Listen, it's okay. I think you're being vindictive, but it's okay. There's nothing going on in this room.
Langston snooze.
Nothing going on in this room, so.
Yeah, I get you. You can create a room where nothing goes on and then ask for another question if you want.
Look at that dominatrix, babe. It's okay. Forgive you.
I know it is. Yep. Langston snooze. Yeah, life's tough. You know what they say, life is hot.
Well, who say that? I ain't heard that one.
That comes from a movie called The Time Traveler's Way. Ugh, that movie is so ridiculous. I think it's like a romantic comedy. It's probably one of my favorite genres, if not my favorite. I don't really watch a whole lot of movies anymore. But romance. But it's not a comedy. Romantic comedy is one of my favorite genres. Romance. This is romance and sci. Yeah, and this is romance and sci-fi because in this movie,
oh shit,
it's a good one. I don't watch sci-fi because sci-fi just doesn't do it for me. I don't think. I don't know. I never felt inclined to get into it. It's just stupid to me. But I think I'm making like a premature judgment. I don't know if I've given it a full chance. The times I have went when people drag me to the movie theaters, I think I've fallen asleep. Anyway, this girl or this guy has this condition where he can't control it. Think of it like narcolepsy. He just disappears and goes back into time, right? And then he interacts. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's gonna sound stupid. Anyway, he falls in love with someone, and it just goes through the hardships of doing so. The plot is way better than what I'm saying. I'm not doing it any justice, but it's so good. The Time Traveler's Wife, so good. Panda, have you watched it?
I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Man, you've been here all that time? Wow.
No, I got here in the middle of
Okay. When I put belt to ass, I kind of feel bad for y'all after I do it. So, there's that.
Langston Stew's methodology. It won't stop. So here's the thing with Langston Stew. This is not to you. You can participate. But I've been saying this since. Out of the context of Concrete, he's really. You'll see that every day with him. All right, but the thing is, it's that I can't face reality. It's so odd. There's nothing mentioned today at all was anywhere near being serious whatsoever. This can't be intense for anybody. That's my guess. Maybe it is. I don't know. But having to convince yourself, which I think is easy, very, very, very easy in default at this point for him, that this happened instead of that. I kind of have mixed emotions at different times. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's sad. you know, sometimes I'm like, oh, that's some bitch ass shit, you know, like, and then I'm always left with some mild level of confusion, very mild, very, very mild level of confusion, and just kind of like a little bit of a twisted face, like, aren't you supposed to be a man? And that's what I think, and I'm sure, I guess it's a little bit misogynistic or sexist, because I think men are supposed to act a certain way, especially. I think adults are supposed to act that way, but especially men and how they describe themselves. You're supposed to act like you're supposed to be okay. Like, it's not that bad. It's just a little bit of truth that doesn't affect your life, really. I'm sure nothing will be employed. It can't hurt your feelings, even though I'm unsure. I would guess it might, because I don't know why the fuck anybody would act so strange. It must be protecting something. I have no fucking clue. I don't know. Ask somebody that knows him. Can't ask him because he'll tell you a lot. But ask somebody that knows him well enough. I don't know. I have no fucking clue. But it is strange. It is transparent, and it's desperate, and it's sad, because it's like, we watch every interaction here. We're watching you. We're listening to you on stage. We saw the whole thing. You're not influential, and I mean that. There's a lot in my heart. You know, you're not skillful. You're quite transparent. You know, you're one of the biggest patterns on this fucking app ever. I mean, literally the same thing every time. So it's like, man, give it up already, or don't. There's nothing really that can be done about it. You know, I have my own handling requirements. So if it's annoying or in the way, then see you later. You know, you can listen when you do, or if leave, you'll probably leave before that anyway. It's an honor to me. But like I said, I also tweet sad and most touching a man. How hard is this? It's just a little dose of truth. Goodness gracious. Panda, are you in Exchange Place?
No, Newport. Well, I think it's the same thing.
No, you're right. Newport is a little bit different. It's just very close.
Yeah, close. I think I'm just further up towards, like, yeah, more to north.
That, one of the best views of New York City there.
I saw it was just not even picture worthy. It was on the 13th floor. It was like...
My question is, because I don't think I ever really spent time in Queens. You know, it's so funny. I never spent time in the Bronx. I don't think I've ever really spent time in Queens. It's just so weird living here for so long. Hold on. But my thoughts are like the Weehawken, Liberty, like all across here where I'm at, like the quote unquote Gold Coast.
Yeah, that area.
This is the best view of New York.
I think honestly,
but then what I want to ask you is like, is it Queens that's the best view? Because I've heard that, or is it that's this unobstructed, you know, this, you know, which one is it?
I think both of them will work, right? Like both of them look like are fine. I think that the only reason why I made like the Soho House, like Brooklyn side, like that's over there, like because like you know you have the two bridges over there. I'm like that's a little dimension, you know what I'm saying? But the one like in Queens from Long Island City that also has a little dimension too. It's a little bit closer, and it looks nice too. But like I think you're right where you are. You see the whole entire thing, like from top to bottom, like. And I think that's
like actually, you know what? That's it. You got it because I'm not actually. I'm gonna tweak how I say it. I'm saying that same shit. This is the best view, blah blah blah. But you're right because there's so many good angles.
Yeah.
You know, like you get the 2 bridges or 3 bridges really on the Dumbo side.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, but the thing is that on that side of the island, it's a little like curved a little bit, so that's why you can't just look right up the water and see everything. But on your side, the river is straight, so you can see literally from, like I said, the beginning to end, like especially where you are, just literally look from one end to the other, and it looks really nice. On the other side, because it has like it kind of makes like, I don't want to say L shape, but like a backwards shape on this way. Then if you were standing down on the Brooklyn side, you would be able to see much of the rest. Like looking up towards Queens, it's gonna be like obstructed by something.
What's more romantic?
From
that's gonna be just going back. Literally, because I'm thinking about being on the Dumbo. I was out to dinner at the Dumbo side. So cute. right? And then I was at dinner on the Liberty, Weehawken area, so right along the river. It was nice, but there was something about it. It seemed a little more immersive, and you had the little lights and all that shit. So I'm like, yeah, that's the best I got. Those are my two views I'm comparing.
I feel
I
like
about the double views. I always vouch for this view, but for the other, like, the other view is more immersive.
Yeah, I think so too. Because it's just, I don't know, there's something about it. It's really nice. It's more like enclosed.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the word is. The romantic space I got.
But cozy. Cozy is the word.
That's what I was thinking. It's calling New York cozy is odd, so I stay with it. But it doesn't work.
Some places are. I think like Brooklyn Heights is cozy. It's a little cozy neighborhood.
Yeah.
On the waterfront. I don't know. Concrete, what part of New York are you from? You're from Long Island, right?
Facts.
Yeah, I told you.
I'm not from Long Island, Panda.
You're from Brooklyn? Which one?
Listen, I have a question for Rohan, and I need
Which one?
I need you to veto T's whatchamacallit, because then I'm about to.
What are you talking about?
I was actually had a business question. I'm not interested. I made some tweaks to my handling. There's certain things I just don't respect, like, which is like a certain level of bitch assness. No offense, I just want to be restricted, please. I don't know. Moving out of the way, and listening to something, for somebody that I just don't respect. You could be on stage for research purposes only and all that stuff, and it could be cordial.
Stop crying, bro. It's not that serious.
Cutting me off, and then if I do that, I just don't respect niggas like this. So why would I?
I need to apologize for hurting your feelings or something.
No, please don't. Why would I listen to his voice any longer?
Oh, she's mad.
Thank you. Blah blah blah. No. I have handling questions. I just bitch ass niggas. I think I'm being very nice to a bitch ass nigga. So, what else do you want from me? That's my argument.
Listen, because I understand you're like how you are, I'm gonna forgive you. There you go.
I wouldn't care if you
not gonna.
There. I wouldn't care if you disappeared there. I would have batted eyed. So you're fine here.
Crying, my goodness.
Sure. Rohan.
Hello.
Dari requested that we review the. Oh no, Rohan, you weren't around last night for the. Wait. No, that wasn't last night. That was the Feminism was Counterintuitive room. Our little resident African is intrigued and he wants to review it. I don't think. Never mind then, because I don't think you were really engaged in that one.
Dari, is the truth? Is that what you're saying?
We gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about that room.
Wow, is that deep?
But yeah, I don't know. I guess so. Dari's dramatic, so I can't tell what's deep. But it did start with the conversation between me. It was a small room like this. Dari and I were talking, and then it kind of just grew into that. So I guess he picked up some things, and now I'm gonna listen to Dari's misinterpretations and.
Sounds about right.
I like Dari. Dari is the most emotional nigga that I like, because I think the African that sets him that thwarts all that bitch assness, Typically when you're that emotional and imaginative and everything, you're typically like a bitch ass nigga. But Dari's a little bit of a breakthrough in that I'm not seeing a lot of that from him. And my theory is that it's probably the African or just gotta be foreign or something like that, So that's what I can appreciate with Dari. I literally say exactly this to him, just like this. Actually, I'll say it harsher. He's gonna be cracking up, laughing, go back and forth, blah blah blah, shoot the shit, no big deal.
That's real.
Yeah.
I still can't stand.
You say, I can't stand Dari. I don't like Dari. He the old panda, blah blah blah. Other niggas, it's gosh, it makes me want to give real men like credit. Like when I say real men, I mean not the ones that I call that resemble like females to me. You know, I just can't put them in the category. You know, you can go by the chromosomes all you want. I don't think you. But like, it really gives me because how the fuck do you if this is like because to me that's these niggas like it's like a woman or some shit. This is the best I got, and I mean not a dope woman. Like I mean like an annoying bitch. You know, is y'all fuck have to deal with that or in your vetting have to sort through bitches like that? Hell no. I can't do it. I just can't fuck with it. That's just too. Fuck that shit. So I'd like to know. Oh, for research purposes only, when you know, say you're dating, you know, you have time, you meet a bunch of girls, you know, because you're dating and meeting people, whatever. Do you run into annoying ass bitches? You know, are you ever stuck on a date with an annoying bitch? Excuse me, I know you don't use that word.
Yes, I have encountered that for sure.
On a scale of 1 to 10, you know, how annoying is it for you to just sit there interacting with a bitch as annoying as I described?
Oh yeah, yes, a 10. I was like, I be making my plans like, nope, never see it again. Block. How can I get out early?
Yeah, exactly it. Exactly it. That's what I'm saying. Like, so I am able to empathize, you know, with that feeling at this point because Lord have mercy. I would say I know annoying niggas for sure. So I would say, oh yeah, I get what you mean. It's like, geez, but this is a different level. This is reminiscent of a bitch. And when I say bitch, I mean a stupid ass female. In this context here, niggas gracious. Hell no, it's like a different type of annoyance. Maybe it could be because I'm like a woman and I have like this. When you're not used to something, you know, so it's like extra, you know, jarring to you. So maybe I gotta consider that and readjust my categorizations or the categories because I could just be jarred and annoyed at the same time. And that's influencing my labeling. So I either put them in the female bucket or I could add another category of men, which is the most annoying motherfuckers bucket. So, but that's all back end shit. Hey Finley.
I don't know if y'all can hear me, but good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I can hear you.
What's up, nigga? Finley, you a pilot? Yes, sir. Okay, good job, bro. How many hours you got? 6,000 and some change now. Okay. Keep going. That's dope.
When do you need like a certain amount of flying time or flight time to be what do you call it, the next rank, the captain or whatever, captain?
Upgrading is based on seniority and availability.
Like years and then okay, I see. Slots. Cool. Would you fly internationally at any point in your career, or pretty good?
So I always.
Oh yeah.
I mean, no, yeah, it's different. Yeah. So over the oceans, no. North America, Central and South America, yeah.
Okay. Are there any benefits to being an over the ocean pilot?
If you're flying wide bodies, pays more.
Okay. Cool.
You also have less actual flights. So if I did say Newark to freaking London flight. One of those flights is, there and back is probably equivalent to like me flying like 4 flights typically.
What's up, Finley?
What's good, Concrete?
Not much, man. You just walked in. I had to put belt to ass on these folks, so they're gonna be a little bit smarting for a little bit.
I wish he could have heard the rest of that goat conversation we had.
As a side note, there's another pilot I just met on here. He's actually in Chillism right now. Real good guy. He flies private jets though, and he's a former military pilot.
Who, AIM?
Yes, yes.
Cool. We know AIM from Instagram.
Finally back on my side, too.
All right.
What do you think AIM would say about y'all?
Oh, God. That we're tall?
That we're tall? I'm so dead.
Wait, how tall are you?
And I'm short.
I'm 5'4".
Compared to Abe? Oh, man.
Why would he say you're tall?
Because he's like 4'11".
Oh, man. There you go.
No joke. Not even joking. I'm literally not even joking. See, how tall is he for up?
I think you got about maybe an inch or two. You're probably an inch or two off either way.
How tall are you, T?
I'm 5'7".
He's much taller than me. It's so unfair.
Dang.
I don't know how she got that. T and my other
Okay,
sister,
thank you.
they're much taller. No, it's not. T. I don't even look like I'm wearing heels when I'm wearing heels.
It's adorable.
So it's not.
That's a great height.
No, 5'7" is really nice.
So it's three ladies?
No,
we don't share. We don't share our business like that thing.
We ask questions and we don't share.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
You don't share? We don't share. That'll be fair in the real world, but not.
Oh my gosh, let me take a picture of this. Like I'm about to take a picture of this. Like I don't live in this. Like I don't live here. I need to get out more.
What is it?
Oh, this is actually good. How long is this? Oh, Concrete will like this. He likes that architecture. Like he's been here a billion times. So. Let's see. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, should I go to Sephora?
Oh
I
yeah.
wonder if I should go to Sephora. Oh, I'm passing Sephora. How much is passing Sephora? It's so good. Oh, I have to go back home. I need to go to groceries, and then I need to go to the post office, and then I'll go home.
Honey, you ever go to Broadway and see the plays?
I went once. I went to Wicked.
You went to Wicked?
Yeah, I went to Wicked a few years ago. It was the first night that the black, and the first black Galinda.
Black?
I think she's still playing Galinda. You know.
Yeah, I guess that's a character, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I only went once. I think T has probably been way more than I have. It's not like she's a dwarf or anything like that.
Wait, T, you're in the place?
That's why I'm trying to get that disclaimer. Not that she's one of those geeks, but
one of those what?
You know, like the drama geeks. You know those?
Oh no, not a theater kid. I love
theater.
I
love plays.
Even outside of like Broadway, I just love watching plays. I always liked it.
Interesting. I wouldn't expect like demonic people to be into
I'm not. We're not.
events.
That's the thing.
No, not you. I'm just talking about.
I do like plays.
Concrete. Funny enough, I saw this little ad just now. It said Concrete Jungle. It was so cute.
Yeah, it was a hot night.
Funny,
Nobody cared about that.
Funny.
Nobody cared about the ad.
Finally, I did a full psychoanalysis. Oh my gosh, it was tough. A lot of crying, a lot of wailing, a lot of national.
Wow. That was very
We have to
difficult,
listen to we gotta listen to the replay so we can hear all the crying really. That should be so fun.
I cannot.
I think when
cannot
this room
stand
ends,
crying.
yeah, when this room ends. Hey, why'd you assume it was him crying?
I could tell.
Yeah.
You want to know what it is? It's kind of like when a cute baby cries, it's like not that cute. But when you're big and gigantic and like you're not the cutest baby and like you smell, then like and you're crying, it's like what am I supposed to like? What are you supposed to do with that?
Not all in your nose.
Not all in. Yeah, that's absolutely.
Somebody get their baby.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, should I go to post office first or the grocery store? I thought to go back home.
That's the post office?
Okay.
You should post office, but it closed.
I want to carry
Well,
your
pretty much.
groceries into the post office.
I hate being in this hole. Does that? Now to take one of these trains in years. I don't go in this hole.
Yeah, what else? We were talking about international flights or something like that.
Yeah, we were talking about international, and you were asking me what's the difference between flying over the ocean versus the advantages. I think you were saying.
You done been to the Bermuda yet?
No, I've never been to
You want to go to Bermuda? It's British, right? It's a British.
I'm talking about the triangle.
Are you talking about?
I want my guests
Y'all
on
travel motherfuckers.
Yeah, but Bermuda is part of the Bermuda Triangle.
He's asking if he's flown, you know.
I thought
Yes, I've flown into the Bermuda Triangle.
Listen, everybody flies it. Listen, have you ever flown to Miami that time?
Yes.
Nah,
You were in the
I
Bermuda.
did. Yeah, I did.
You ever flew in the Caribbean? Where?
Nah, I just went to Miami once.
Chances are you were in the triangle.
Oh
Probably
shit.
inside of the triangle.
Yeah, you got there. I was
talking to T on the phone.
years ago.
I was talking to T on the phone one time when I was doing this like Bermuda Triangle. I'm like, gee, like I literally go through it every time I'm flying to Miami.
Yeah, that's when I found out. You told me.
Yes.
Any stories? I was asking for interesting stories. You're pretty, pretty like, nah.
I'm good. Never has anything good.
You talking to me, T? You talking to Panda?
You.
I don't have any interesting stories.
Good. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't have any interesting stories. No. I mean, I have crazy customer interactions, and I have the interactions that make me feel like $1 million. But other than that, my job is pretty. I wouldn't say boring, but it's just there's nothing interesting going on.
So I knew a guy. He was flying to, I believe it was San Diego or San Fran, something along those lines, right? And he was on like American Airlines or something. And he said not too long before they were about to land, the plane was doing like this, like kind of like flicking motion. It was like, would just dip on one side and come back up, like, just kind of would keep flicking, like over and over again. And he was like, what the hell? And every time he was kind of like weirded out, whatever. But they didn't really say anything, and then that was pretty much it. He said he ended up getting a news memo saying that something had happened with one of the, I don't know what you call it, the little flappy things on the wing. And it was like as if stuck.
The flaps or the winglets?
They were trying to, I don't know.
Meant the flaps.
One of them floppy thingies, and basically he was stuck, and but they were able to get it unstuck, and they refunded his fee for the inconvenience, and he had no idea.
What was that about?
Yeah, what was that?
You have no
Do you
idea.
know?
I have no idea.
Yeah, he said it was something about something getting stuck on the wing, so they had to like flick it to make it move, kind of in a way.
It could have been slats, flaps. I don't know. One or the other.
Hell no. Imagine one of those little thingies getting stuck.
Hell, it could have been slap switcher in the front. Excuse me, flap switcher in the, or I'm sorry, slats in the front, flaps in the back, and then there's air brakes on the top. It could have been any one of those things could have been
And
stuck.
then they would do like some flicking maneuver to make it move again, like as if something was stuck is how he explained it. And that flicking was trying to get that stuff away.
Yeah, I have no idea. It could be any one of those three things, yeah.
That's scary. Don't you think?
No.
Would you be scared of something like that happening again?
No.
So you haven't had to do any like...
I have yet to run through any emergency procedures.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah. I mean, other than in practice, you practice them all the time, but I have yet to go through emergency procedures.
Oh, that's good. Very good.
I'm hyper vigilant too. So there's that part.
Yeah,
If I see anything that's irregular on like the walk around, or when we're pre-flighting, like I'm on a captain's behind asking a million questions before we move.
Pilots will do that themselves. They actually walk around.
Yeah, before you fly, there's a walk around that you have to do when you first come into the plane. Yeah.
Like a little hypervigilance. Good.
That's a DOT thing, though. Airlines do it. But that's a DOT period. If you're about to move any commercial vehicle, whether it be a plane or train or you gotta do a pre-trip.
They built this big building in a spot where they usually have lower buildings. And I could see it from my house, and I was walking my room for maybe.
Do you know Danielle, the realtor, the one that was in the conversation yesterday?
Yeah. I remember her.
You guys known each other for years?
I don't know. I've not known her for years. I don't even know her. Do I know her personally? Just on the app?
No. Just the app.
I don't know that we've crossed paths before. Although she sounds familiar, I don't know that we've crossed paths. But maybe we have. I don't know.
Okay. I think she said something like that. It's been, maybe she was saying it's been years hearing, the same kind of talking points or something like that. I years hearing you with
I think she was speaking in generalities to the conversation.
How do you just email can you put a document in a thin folder? I know I'm asking you.
Oh.
But can you put a document, documents, a thick set of documents, one of those thin folders? Will it get messed up? Maybe in this one? I don't know. Huh?
We need a mailing envelope.
Yeah, one got let's say it's a textbook type of size.
Are you in the post office right
It's
now?
not really a text. I'm in here.
So ask them.
Okay, bye.
They gonna tell you everything you need to know.
Here I am.
Hold on. Hey, Corey.
Hey! Oh, wow, Concrete, you're still here. Never would have put my money on that.
T's boring the shit out of me, but it is what it is.
I mean, clearly, look at you, still here. It's pretty.
Right? So,
Well, I just got a haircut, so I look great.
when did you leave earlier, Corey?
I left as you were trying to, right after you broke down the whole, conceptualizing and not, I guess, compromising with the bisexual man part. Right there. That's where I was like, all right, I gotta get in the chair.
How weird was that scale of...
Wait, what?
Super weird, because I just didn't understand. I think they do it a lot in here, but I don't know why these heterosexual men be speaking on my dick. I just find that so weird. I'm like, yo, I don't say nothing about these niggas. I don't flirt with him, none of that. It's just, and then I'll be like, he gonna say, well, yeah, I think I just heard Corey say some things before. What? What the fuck did you hear him say, bitch? Like, what the fuck got you to the conclusion that he was gay? Some gay stuff. Like what? Exactly, which is T's point, bud. Every time you're asked to provide that, like T broke it down so good earlier. She's like, yeah, I come to the conclusion, and she's like, okay, well, how did you get to that conclusion? Oh, it's just a feeling. But what the fuck? Like every goddamn time, it's like you want to be so specific, but can't be specific to save your fucking life at all. It's just a feeling. Okay. Well, you keep on feeling it, nigga, until you realize that that might be a little gay in itself.
Who's in here operating emotions?
To look at the stage and take a guess.
Oh, damn. Sometimes I get exhausted with being right all. Hey, bro.
And I'm not even denouncing or denying that I might have said some gay shit. But what did I say? Why are we arguing? What did I say? We're not arguing, let's be clear too. It's not an argument because you don't have a rebuttal, or a valid one at that. Like, it's... I don't need one if you acknowledged it. I don't need one if you... I'm not acknowledging shit because I asked you to give me something to acknowledge and you can't. That's what I'm acknowledging. Okay? Are we clear? I don't want to speed past this. We're not arguing. These niggas want to be so right all the time. Okay, now we're going back to that argument. You're going to go back there? That was pre-haircut. You niggas try too hard. Calm down. It's not that serious.
Wait, Corey, you got one haircut?
Yep. Just one.
Damn.
I ain't never say these haircuts. I said I got a haircut. Just one hair got cut.
How much do haircuts out there?
200.
Yeah. Wait. What?
I heard it too.
If you want me to answer it again, post your hairline right now.
$200?
Let me see your hairline.
My hairline's terrible, but $200?
Damn.
If your hairline's terrible, go ahead and pay that.
Yeah, go to Turkey.
Nah, I'm just gonna let nature do what it does.
My haircuts are not $200, but my barber's birthday is tomorrow, so I did tip him.
Gotcha.
Oh, they were charging like
Jesus, $200 for a haircut?
I tipped him a little over this time because his birthday's tomorrow.
Like, what's the normal rate?
Oh my God, it's $60. Damn.
Just curious.
You're not coming out here to get no damn haircut. Y'all kill me doing this. Why are we wasting our life?
I don't know where you are.
Right. What are we doing? What are we doing?
I'm just curious.
What are we doing? This is crazy.
I'm just curious.
About what?
When he asked about the haircut, I assumed there's a reason, right? So I'm like, okay, maybe he's in an expensive area. So he's asking about the haircut. Then you say $200. I'm like, Jesus.
Right.
Said, no, it was his barber's birthday, so I gave him a tip. But that didn't cure my curiosity.
No.
About how much haircuts are.
Absolutely.
So that's why I asked the question.
This person's just walking across the street. Wait, get out! Shit. Oh, man, no, New York would be way more aggressive than that. These niggas are scared. They tap their horns and they be scared. They only tap it when they get to Florida. They be like, beep, beep, Florida. New York will lay on that bitch right in front of you.
And when you're in New York, you be hearing, it's
I hear people speaking another language.
You see how not neither, but just the main nigga with the questions, still has yet to be like, so where are you located? I just find it crazy. These niggas are talking about I hear a walker, and some people in the background are saying languages I don't understand. I'm gonna guess Connecticut?
It's a YouTube.
The fuck?
So since you're luring the question out of me, where are you located?
I'm in Los Angeles.
You mean
LA, the city of angels.
Correct. That $60 haircut makes more sense now.
So happy to hear it, man. I don't know what to say. Fine as Greek, man.
Man, do y'all have anything to do? Cause this is boring, bro. For real. Like, what's going on?
I mean, shit, let's talk about something interesting, Concrete. What you got?
I tried to talk to Rohan, but niggas was hating for no reason.
Oh my God, we can't never even get a topic without niggas being bitches. Fuck. I just asked, what can we talk about? What's a topic? Why you gotta be a little bitch right now? Give me a topic.
Calm down, man. You gotta be weirdo. Look, if we want to start calling each other bitches, y'all are gonna lose, so calm down.
Oh, I bet you we will. My daddy named C-Town. I watch C-Town call all 17 of his baby mama bitches.
My level
You don't want to hear me get bitchy in this bitch.
creativity is gonna surpass yours.
Girl.
You're not gonna like it.
Girl.
Persistence and
So just let's
explain that.
Concrete on a level of like,
It's not that serious.
I don't think it's that serious, but I want you to know that I don't think that you could really like go toe to toe with me.
I don't want to be mean. Let's just be nice.
Yeah,
Get a
I
topic.
want to be nice.
Get it.
I asked you for a topic. I asked you for a topic, and now you're doing this. I asked you for a
So
topic,
the
and now you're
topic
doing this.
is directed at Rohan. You ready?
Wow. What the fuck?
You ready?
Can you give me one that ain't so gay?
Do it.
Can you give me one that ain't so gay? Like, take this nigga's dick out your mouth and give me a topic, please. Let me hear you go.
This is boring.
Did you hear it pop out your mouth?
Alright, y'all. I'll be back with y'all have a new topic.
Oh, I gotta leave now because I can't suck Rohan's dick.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. I just heard something with Rohan's dick.
Unhand Rohan.
Unhand Rohan. Rohan, are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm doing great. Fantastic.
It's a little sticky.
You're protecting your dick.
We're protecting your dick.
Appreciate the efforts. Appreciate it.
Damn, a real trap janitor.
Alright, I'm done with the post office. What was your thing? It's the only thing I dislike about, like, being at home. I just hate going outside. And then I'm doing, like, 3 things and I think I'm somebody special.
You probably are.
I am. I know I am. I'm saying that. Well, what I missed me. Oh, you're still crying?
Nothing. I got some really clean research.
That's nice.
It was so.
Yeah.
There's so clean that we can match them quite well.
Yeah.
As calm as possible.
Yeah, right.
So that we can, as possible. And so that we can walk through the methodology that I described on the chat. So lines that you can't touch.
What line? Is that what it is? Get it?
I was talking to Corey, and I was saying kind of that you and Corey shut me down on my request to find a sweet spot yesterday, and that
not for concrete.
I want to go to appeals. You know, I'm thinking, I want an appeal, and I think we should revisit it because I don't think you guys actually understood what I was saying, and blah 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 blah. And Concrete cut in and goes, "Don't you guys get it tired of agreeing with each other? Does it get boring? Does it get boring?" So everybody was like,
that weird
it was like
so weird.
we're literally talking about how we didn't agree.
It's crazy. Because he's delusional.
And then we were talking about, in that conversation, we were talking about, okay, maybe this, but not that, or reach a compromise here, that, blah, 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 that works for me, and you know, so anyway, it's extra weird, so as it kept going on, I'm like, so did you not hear, those people? And so,
okay, what?
Like, we were talking about, said it was like a circle jerk.
Oh, Lord.
So say there's a circle jerk when we're talking about a disagreement, and then also say, I think you have, like, have you ever been married before? You know, if someone else that business, and he was like, oh, no, international business, and then he goes, he hasn't, you know, he was like, oh, I was just asking if you had, because it would show the ability to compromise and such and such and such. I'm like, so you just disqualify yourself? You just disqualify yourself on what you're going to not knowing whether or not I have been married.
And that's strange.
That's stupid. Like, he's stupid. So, like I said, I like a good fighter. Anyway.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
So then it was interesting because the not having the ability to compromise was odd, because in the same conversation that he interrupted, there was a compromise. Hello. Didn't you just say one thing? And then he was proceeding to be the dominant boss of everyone. I'm like, well, same conversation interrupted. Panda Corey shut me down, so I guess that doesn't work either.
I only came in on the last little part, like.
I'm not really glad it is what it is. Then there was something about him. So when he realized, like, he was crazy, he was like, well, it's because Corey's a gay man, and so therefore your interaction with him is different. So you have to make corrections. And what I had to kind of let him know that, like, Corey. So if I'm trying to employ the mental model because he's gay, then I don't have some kind of like hello. You know, I couldn't really wrap my brain around it.
Yeah.
You know, however he was speaking, I was trying my best, but I wanted to let him know that to me, like, he's a bitch, like the worst kind of bitch. He's an annoying ass bitch, you know? Like, so when I think about him as a man and Corey as a man, I have trouble with one versus the other, and that would be him. It's almost physically impossible. Think about him. So I think a bitch because he acts like one, so he's just so then he says something like, I was talking about engagement, not selection. I said, well, and I'm just slimming everything down for you. Because
yeah, no, I was gone for like a good hour. I had to, like, I was gone for like at least an hour, so I know it's slimming it down.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then, just let me slow down. Then you mentioned something like,
thank you.
I said, like, you don't want people too close to you. You want to keep people at arm's length. And I'm just looking at my phone and looking at the app open, and I'm like, the issue is, everybody already is at arm's length. I need to know what specifically is the issue. And kind of just begs the question, what's your preference? What you like to be? Because if the arm's length is fine with you, then, you know, maybe you can calibrate. Then he explained being like, oh yeah, when he said the dominating boss thing, he was just like, and he explained something like that. He was like, well, you need to understand, you know, being multifaceted and everything isn't binary, right? And that you're still a dominating asshole, but not all the time. You can be a couple things at once, such and such and such.
Oh God.
And so that was a creative little take, but I was like, of course I understand being multifaceted. And I understand what you're calling multifaceted. I think it's more convenient, you know. So we're multifaceted. He said, I just don't hold a grudge, and I'm able to do such and such and such. I was like, dude, what you're calling multifaceted is actually just being convenient. So when you are wrong and you feel cornered, then everybody's in the same place. And then he brought up what I was saying about the Faye advising thing in the chat. He was like, Faye, you're not damaging broken. I'd be surprised if you agreed with it. FISA, you're way too nice to even support this time. I'm like, oh, so now you guys have hearts of gold, or you're just lying ass and saying just miserable bitches. Yeah. So I use that.
It's very strange. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of. There was a movie, and I forget exactly what it was, but there was a guy who was gigantic, and he thank you, and like wanted to be like some, I think it was like a rock or something like that, just not rock at all. But you know how like he wanted to be an actor or something, like really died, like was dying to be an actor or whatever, but he was just big as hell and just took everything so seriously in regard to acting. What movie was that? I don't know what it was, but like he was big as hell. Just know that.
It reminds me of a little.
That meant she was big, so somebody big, and they just was super dramatic, you know, cried and could act on a dime or whatever, and just took things super seriously.
Holiday Heart? I don't know. I have no clue. Unless it's Holiday Heart, I don't know.
Where you at?
Right here. Testing.
Me?
Yeah, apparently it's your phone. It's your phone.
It's me. Okay, it's me.
Oh my God.
Literally
I'm
in
in
the
the elevator.
So
I'm
that
in
would
the
make
elevator.
So does it not make sense? Like,
I'm
how many
in
times
the
do you have to
elevator.
Go to the third
elevator
tier floor.
home to know that you're gonna break up?
I don't know.
And
Just
to
as
think
many
it's
as
me
you.
instead of you is crazy.
Just as many times as you, T.
Yep, and every time I do,
Just
I'm
as
on
many
the elevator,
times.
so you may not hear me.
Nah, T, that doesn't happen. It didn't happen today. I got my.
Today when I wasn't on the elevator?
I went to the grocery store.
I think it still makes sense.
I went to the grocery. See, I went to the grocery store.
You give a fuck?
And yeah, you do, because I took everything to the store.
I can't hear you.
Hold on. I'll turn off the AC in the house.
Why are we hearing all this?
Because it. Bye-bye. Pete, listen. You gotta listen. Ooh, that's nice. All right.
Hey, last, hey, diabolical.
Ah.
Hey, big fucking.
Okay. Now. It's hot outside. Oof, that was it's way too hot outside. That's it. I can't deal with it. Oh.
What's up, Fro?
I got stuff to make my sanda. My jacket. It's a strawberry sandwich.
Well, what the fuck?
Yeah, hold on, I'll show you guys.
I don't want to see it. I want to try it. It's a bad.
I know. Yeah, I know. We did a Diddy update. I'm too focused on important stuff.
Did he? He's probably sleeping right now.
No, he's in court. Or he probably just left. Ooh, this looks lovely.
Oh, the strawberry. I would imagine the strawberry sandwich with cream cheese would be good.
Well, this one's more like with whipped cream and some thick, good buttery bread, buttery sugary bread, and it's hold on, don't you guys worry, I will.
I don't touch the cream cheese.
It's pretty like a cream cheese frosting or something.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear you. Yeah.
Can you hear me or you guys can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
Yes,
I
we
can't.
hear you good.
Here's a summary right here. So that must be delayed. 1 second. Test.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Test.
Okay, yeah, something's a little delayed, but here we are. I think we're getting closer. So cool. Here is a summary of the case. Right, so both sides rest. Sean Diddy Combs' defense team rested after presenting a brief case and calling 0 witnesses in the music mogul's federal criminal trial. Earlier today, the prosecution rested its case, which took over 6 weeks. So what happens next? Prosecutors said they do not intend to present a rebuttal case. The judge told the jury to return on Thursday for closing arguments as the lawyers will meet tomorrow for a charge conference. Federal charges, Combs has pleaded not guilty to charge. Interesting. So here's what happened in court this afternoon. Rule 29 motion. Combs' defense attorney, Alexandra Shapiro, made a Rule 29 motion, a routine motion typically made by the defense in a criminal trial after the government rests its case for a judgment of acquittal on all counts, arguing the government failed to meet its burden of proof. Uh-oh. Am I in the Matrix?
You're back. You're here.
Oh, no, that's Finley. He's in the Matrix.
He's in the airplane.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, you're breaking up, Finley. Sorry. Yeah, they did a rule. They made a Rule 29 motion saying that the government hasn't met the requirements or failed to meet its burden of proof that counts against Combs. All right. So counts regarding the racketeering count. Shapiro argued that prosecutors failed to show that anybody conspired with Combs and that he actually took steps to conceal the nature of the sexual activity he was engaging in from his employees, including ex-chief of staff Christina Karam. Shapiro also argued the prosecution did not prove the sex trafficking counts relating to Jane and Cassandra Ventura. So.
Yeah, right.
Took steps to conceal the nature of the sexual activity he was engaging in from his employees. Conceal the nature. Wait, so why would he need to actually take steps to conceal the nature of the sexual activity he was engaging in from his employees? Wouldn't his employees be supporting the nature? Wait, the nature of the nature of his activity. Oh, that's something right there. Does that mean where's Finley?
Can you hear me now?
Finley.
Yeah, I can hear
Finley.
you. Listen to this.
I was saying.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying their defense is asking for a summary judgment, meaning they haven't met their burden, so they're hoping that the judge basically says you haven't met your judge and dismisses it on summary, and then the charge conference is basically that's when they give the jury instruction, and then what else?
I'm sorry. So when summary judgment. So if the judge rules or whatever that they haven't met the burden to prove the counts, what would happen after that?
The judge can just flat out dismiss it on summary, saying you have not met burden of proof, and it's done. I mean, defenses try that. I did say that if the defense moves for summary judgment, I did say that looks favorable for Combs, because a lot of people think that defenses do that all the time, and they don't. They typically only do that when the prosecution has put up a very weak case. I don't know that to be the case here because I didn't follow the trial that closely, but like I said, that's what they're doing. And the judge will make a move. We'll rule on that. I don't know if they have or not.
So here's something interesting.
Today's the closing arguments, right?
Wait. Huh?
No, you said you didn't know he made a judgment on that. No,
Panda, you're breaking up. You have to get on Wi-Fi. You're at home, so I'm sure you have to get on Wi-Fi.
Nah, I'm on Wi-Fi. Oh, I'm not on Wi-Fi. Okay.
Summary. No, go ahead, T. Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't know if I'm delayed or y'all are just.
Yeah, it's that second option, T. Second option.
Okay, thank you, bro.
Wait,
so fine, Panda's on Wi-Fi. What we'll do is get Panda's question, and then we'll get on track. Go ahead.
No, it wasn't a question. I was just saying because he was saying he didn't know they made a judgment on that yet, and I said that today was closing arguments. Mm-hmm. I was just making that comment. That's all. And I was telling you that I was making that comment. I thought I would break it up.
You were breaking up?
I was breaking up, Corey.
Yeah.
Because you weren't on Wi-Fi, so that makes sense.
Okay.
You shouldn't even spend time questioning it. So let's move on to Finley, right? And Finley, what were you saying?
I was saying that they're closing. That means that means the summary judgment was denied.
Oh. Okay. So. Okay, somebody's telling me to read this again just to make sure. Oh wait, there's a rebuttal. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so regarding the summary judgment. Okay, that's the Rule 29 motion. So then the counts regarding racketeering count, Shapiro argued that prosecutors failed to show that anybody conspired with Combs and that he actually took steps to conceal the nature of sexual activity he was engaging in from his employees, which was odd to me, right? Because why would he need to take steps to conceal the nature of the sexual activity? Does that mean, because I thought showing that they facilitated, and assisted in the operation would show that it's a criminal organization, right? But is this like some kind of nuance here? Is my question. Took steps to conceal the nature of the sexual activity he was engaging in. Why would he need to do that?
So, and this is my guess, right? So I'm guessing, based on the elements of the crime, the defense is challenging the theory, which is normal, and so if they're able to defeat that theory, they can essentially, in a sense, defeat that particular element. And then, so for example, if I say that the elements of a bank robbery is holding the gun and pushing the door, but I'm just making stuff up just to kind of illustrate my point. If I defeat your arguments, right, and say you have not proven those elements, or there has not been, or that has never been tried before, right? That particular way, if I'm successful in that, when they give the jury instruction, that element is thrown out. They go in the matrix, or did you hear me?
I get that. I think, are you in the matrix? But I get it. The element is thrown out if you don't prove it. Let's say this is what I'm actually asking. If you list two elements for the bank robbery: holding the gun, pointing the gun, and picking in the door, right? So what I'm actually asking is, why do I have to prove holding the gun? So now listen to this. Actually, regarding the racketeering count, Shapiro argued that prosecutors failed to show anybody conspired with Combs and that he actually took steps to conceal the nature of sexual activity he was engaging in from his employees. Why would he need to conceal the nature of activity?
I'm sorry, I'm in the matrix. I missed that whole. I heard conceal steps. I missed the whole part before that. Okay, I'm moving to a better area shortly.
Yeah, no problem. Then I'll take a look. We'll put a pin in it. Look at it later. Okay, no problem. So fine. Rebuttal. Prosecutor Christy Slavic responded to the defense's motion, saying that the record developed a trial more than established a sufficient basis for the case to be represented to the jury. The judge said he'll reserve decision on the motion. I'm doing great, quote unquote. While the jury was not present, the judge addressed Combs directly about his decision to testify in his own defense and asked how he's feeling. I'm doing great, Your Honor. Combs said, adding, I've been wanting to tell you thank you. You're doing an excellent job. The judge chuckled and said, thank you, I appreciate it. The judge also confirmed with Combs that he understood that he had the right not to testify and that no one can draw inference if he doesn't, and asked Combs if it was his decision not to testify in this case. This is my decision, Your Honor, Combs said. The defense's case. Combs' defense attorney, Anna Estavo, I'm just going to say it like that, began to present the defense's case by reading several text messages between Ventura and Combs into the record that showed the two positively discussing plans for a freak-off. The defense rested its case by the end of the day. Stipulations. Penny Garagos, another one of Combs' defense attorneys, also read a stipulation regarding statement witnesses made at interviews ahead of trial, including a statement by a man who Combs purportedly hired to have sex with Kathy Ventura. Garagos said that several meetings Dawn Richard had with the government, she did not say that Combs threatened her by saying where he comes from. People go missing if they say things. That Mia's first 3 meetings with law enforcement, she did not say that Combs initiated sexual contact with her, and that Brianna Bangolan did not tell prosecutors at the meeting prior to the trial that Combs said he could kill her at a photo shoot, according to the stipulation. The jury will not be present at court on Wednesday. They will return on Thursday when the closing arguments are expected to begin. Interesting. So, I just want to get your thoughts, Finley, on the defense closed their case today. Let me do this back. So the prosecutors, prosecution closed and defense closed, right? they went on for 6 weeks, the prosecutors, and the defense, gosh, I don't know how long were they? A few days, maybe?
A day? What,
Maybe a day?
Didn't the prosecution arrest today?
Yeah, today, so a day, I guess.
So yeah, not even a day.
So what are your thoughts when you hear something like that?
So I don't know why. It's a lawyer. I mean, it always has a prefix. These are just my opinions. That's a lawyer. But so I don't. It tells me that the prosecution may not have put on the best case. That doesn't mean that this dude's not going to be convicted. I just feel like at least looking at it, through my lens, that they put on a very weak case. I did notice in the beginning that and I understand why. There was a lot of, his relationship with Cassie, what went on with them, when the net of what he's being charged with wasn't really relevant, but I get that they're trying to establish a pattern, and that's what you do in RICO cases. You want to establish a pattern of behavior over a particular time, but I do think that they focus too heavily on her without because you didn't need to have that much emphasis on their relationship to establish a pattern. You could have moved on, but that's why I believe it was a weak case. Diddy was never going to testify. There's no way in hell he was going to get up there and testify. He would have been dissected on character alone, and the jury would have eaten that up. So with that said, I think he's going to be convicted of some things. Is he going to get a lot of time? I'm not thinking so. I don't think he's going to be hit. I think what total of 5 counts? Adding up all the counts? 5?
I don't know how many counts. I just know it's RICO, sex trafficking, force fraud, coercion. 2 counts of that, I think, and man acts of transportation. I think that's 1 count. That's my memory. I'll have to look it up in a second.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, racketeering, conspiracy, 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Yeah, I think maybe sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. The 2 counts of transportation and engaging in prostitution is gonna be hard, and then racketeering, conspiracy. I think he'll be convicted of racketeering, conspiracy.
Okay, so there's racketeering, force, fraud, or coercion, right? And you said that one you're not sure.
Sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and then 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Those are the ones that are going to be hard. The second one is going to be hard, not the racketeering conspiracy. That was going to be easy because he freaking the mom.
Yeah.
He blackmailed the mom. He freaking extorted the mom.
Okay. Damn. So, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, damn, them niggas really didn't put up a fight. So I would, and then as far as the Cassie thing and the amount of time spent, because my thoughts going through the damn trial, I was like, this is, me, let's get organized, my goodness. And I'm just thinking about it from like just a jury standpoint, you've got to lay this shit out, blah, blah, blah. Just my thoughts. I'm like, I wish it was a lot cleaner, and I thought it was just kind of, it's just like overly deep. There's just a lot of, I don't know, I'm sorry, rabbit holes or in the weeds, and I've like the closing argument better zoom out and do it in a very clean way to really show everything you just heard, all this shit substantiates the legal standards for these charges, basically. So anyway, you talked about Cassie and how much time she spent and the detail that she provided. You said it didn't seem necessary, right?
Not to establish a pattern.
Not to establish a pattern, yeah. That's my biggest thing, showing the pattern, Right. I was wondering, they must have, because I'm like, why the fuck, because I had some thoughts too that are similar. I'm thinking, if the defense's like strategies, like showing, hey, this is just a chaotic relationship, might have been crazy and repulsive, but not illegal. Maybe they were providing that detail about, Cassie, just to show it was more than a chaotic relationship. I don't know if that's the best I got. I'm trying to figure out why they spent so much time on her. I think the details, at some point I was like, okay, so what they're doing is laying out everything, amongst different witnesses. You got Cassie and all the shit that happened, here. And then the same thing with the other witnesses, but it seems so much like relationship-like. I wish they would have highlighted, some more of the recruitment and the coercion and the,
Exactly.
Yeah, just to kind of make sure it fits into this be very charge-focused and showing more of the criminal organizational piece of it as opposed to the details. But hard to tell because maybe those details actually speak to the piece, whatever. I don't have, I cannot read no transcripts. So the thing is, wow, I spent too long talking about that. There's a different thought I had, which was, well, hopefully it comes back to me. There's one little piece I wanted to add, but yeah. So the Rule 29 motion, right? The judge did not rule or anything or whatever, with that one.
Well, if they're going to charging conference and closing, then the judge had to have ruled. That's them asking for summary judgment. And if they're granting summary judgment, case is done. We definitely know about that.
So it says that. Let's go back up. So again, the Rule 29, the rebuttal, right, from the prosecutor was that the record developed at trial more than establishes sufficient basis for the case to be presented to the jury. The judge said he'll reserve decision on this motion.
He's passing it off to the jury.
Oh, duh. Because he literally just talked about the jury coming back on Thursday, I'm sure of it. And you just said that there's not going to be no jury. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I think, and again, I think, and this is my amateur take, I think that the prosecution overplayed the Cassie portion. I think that they could have, like you said, hit the criminal element to move on, but I think in trying to establish the type of character that he was, you open the room for the jury to say, you know what, this is just a weird Hollywood-esque relationship, and that's how they move. And I'm pretty sure that that's what the defense is going to argue in closing, that this is pretty much how they moved, and that there was no criminal intent here. And, and I mean, it's a coin toss, even though it's clearly he started the mom, right? Which goes in the racketeering conspiracy. But again, if you're able to convince the jury, look, this is how they moved. They did this for a long period of time. He went hands up, but he didn't. But he's not on trial for that. And then the instructions, you have to adhere to the instructions. And so we'll see. It'll be interesting.
The prosecution, I hope they perform, during the closing arguments to really describe what might, if this is in fact the case, right, what might look like, just Holly weird, actually is patternistic, right? And it does fulfill the requirement. So, again, this is Cassie and all the shit they consumed then, and then there's the other witness and all the shit they consumed then, and it is the at least the details I got Cassie, relationship based, and the other witness relationship based. There's something that has to be pulled, some kind of pattern that needs to be pulled from both to show that criminal element, which would be some kind of so Cassie's career would have been one of them, but then also the mental something, I'm forgetting because Cassie's been weeks, but there's something there that serves as coercion, even the psychological manipulation, shit like that. But I'm just gonna say career for now, just to show, just as example element, and then the other girl, I don't know. I think I kind of wasn't all in the details by then, but I just kept hearing her rent being paid or something, her house or her livelihood or something like that. So neat, depending on him to pay for that and then the break off. So I have to take a closer look to see what is showing. That's gonna it's gonna be tough for the jury to I hope the prosecution does a good job at highlighting the criminal element, as you said, and the patterns involved in order to fulfill these standards.
He gets two jobs. They get 2 shots at it. They'll close. The defense will close, and then they'll get their rebuttal close. So they get 2 shots.
Good shit. Let's see. Let me take this to a different place. Juries. I brought this up briefly. Something about a jury, and I could just be burnt because I don't know, but something about a jury just seems so amateur in a risky way to me. You're pulling these people off the street, my peers, Who is this? I don't, who are these people? This guy works at the cafe. This guy's the mailman. This one's a chemical engineer. Like, who the fuck are these people, and why is it that they get this? I think for cases that are hard to navigate legally, it just doesn't seem like the best thing to do. Those are my thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, I get.
Why?
I get. I mean, it's the best system we got, unfortunately.
Could you imagine anything a bit that could be stronger than that, or do you? How about this? What are the risks of that? So let me see if we're on the same page with, or at least understand what I'm communicating.
Yeah, the risks of obviously you have bias, right? A bias, right? Or they cannot relate, right? And you're saying peers, like these people aren't his peers, right? And so certainly, and we've seen that historically, right? And we see it in trends, in sentencing trends. In the hierarchy of sentencing, white women are at the top of that totem pole, and black men at the bottom because of bias. Because of bias is why the freaking woman here in Florida killed her kid and was able to get rid of it. So there's always that risk, right? But on the other hand, so if you look at, say for example, how they do things in like juvenile court, which there's no jury. You got it in the judge's hand, and there's still a risk of bias. And judges, judges have been convicted for there was a freaking scandal for freaking judges were freaking funneling kids into a private prison. So you have that measure. So in some cases, juries are better than just judges alone. My opinion, because your luck is still better with the jury because I lean on the air of caution, and all you need is you got to convince everybody that this person is guilty. It's got to be unanimous that it's guilty, so I'd rather go with that than one person having a bias and saying your life is done.
Right, bias is one risk that, I thought about, but this is what I was saying, navigate complex, legal standards, right? Because bias, I'm with you on that, is going to be present, it's going to be a hard thing to get rid of. Maybe that would be fun to think about how to control it, but what I was getting at first was really, do these niggas even know the law? I'm sure you get your jury instructions and shit like that, but like, think about this. This case is complicated enough, okay. This girl works at the deli. Does she even understand how to go about it? This case and what technically applies and, and all this stuff. Maybe the jury instructions are that detailed, maybe they are. Okay, and then so good. They are, and then here's another thing. Having to check the boxes. Okay, this is present. Like, is there some kind of control in how they decide, right? So, if this checks all the boxes, like yes, technically this is here, this is here, this is here, this is here. Do they have to say yes? Okay, I'm guilty. Or both guilty.
So how it works is you're given a jury instruction, right? And this is literally how I used to do it. In order to order a value meal, you need the drink, you need the fries, you need the sandwich, right? If with respect to drink, the fries, and the sandwich, you do not have the value meal, which is not enough to convict. And when they're given the jury instructions, they'll be given you got to prove A, B, and C. And then it's up to the jury to decide what testimony meets A, B, and C. That's why they have notebooks when they're in the jury. That's why they're given the notebooks. That's why they're taking notes. And when they go back there and deliberate, it's up to them to decide if A, B, and C has been met and what's credible and what's not. That's literally because jury selection is called voir dire. It literally means fact finding. It's literally fact of the case are determined by the jury, not by the law. It's determined by the jury.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's helpful. That's helpful to understand. So let me see if my question remains, or if it's mitigated, or at this point, let me think. So
okay, so the criteria is laid out, and then listening to see if it missed. So yeah, still things still can go over their heads, right? Like, I don't think this fits. And that's the problem right there. Like, now here's an impractical kind of scenario where it's like legal analysts and a group of your peers. I actually said peers because I think the Constitution states something like that, right? But you got a group of your peers made up of anybody and everybody. All the Trump voters. I'm just kidding, but everybody, and a bunch of legal analysts. I wonder how different, this in a world with no bias, how that's just not practical. So hypothetical. Legal analysts, a group of regular people. Okay, and let's just add an AI bot in there too. Shit, fuck it. I wonder how the differences, we would see in these decisions. So that's my point. An analyst is able to listen to the case and say, yes, this does meet. Yes, this does check. Yes, you know what I'm saying? Way better than a fucking group of, regular people, of course.
It's still opinions, though. At the end of the day, it's still your opinion. So, for example, because like I've listened to legal analysts break down cases, right? And sometimes when there's enough like evidence, obviously, it's a slam dunk. Okay, fine. But when it comes down to like people's testimony, and there's not a lot of physical evidence, like regular people got to look at these people, listen to the story, and say, does that sound believable or not? Do I believe what they're saying? And so then it comes down to opinion. In a lot of cases, it comes down to opinion. There's a lot of evidence that comes down to opinion.
You know what? That makes, because at first I'm like, this is just such a hole, like a flaw. Why do we do this? But it is down to opinion. So I guess okay, fine. I wish I could think of an example to where two legal analysts, right? I guess, like I said, if it's technical, let's think of if we can, it'll take a few seconds to try to think of something where two legal analysts may disagree, and it's not just the absence of knowledge or knowledge gap. Let's think.
I mean, the OJ case is a pretty. I mean, like, with all due respect, Judge Joe Brown is wrong.
Judge Joe Brown is wrong. Wait, you're breaking up, so I'll wait until you're done. Where's Panda? Oh, there she is. You're breaking up, Finley. I'm gonna wait until you're done.
Yeah, I had a red bar, so I don't know if you get.
No, I lost you at Judge Joe Brown.
Oh, you hear me again?
Mm-hmm.
I was saying, I don't know if this kind of meets, if this is a good example, but I was saying the OJ case is a pretty clear-cut case of enough physical evidence, but like Judge Joe Brown, who I consider to be a great legal mind, even though he was dead wrong on the OJ case, he says OJ was innocent.
Mm-hmm. But and why? Why?
He said that he presented. So if there was a theory about the way that she was executed, saying that there were mob ties, that was kind of a Hail Mary that Shapiro and company presented to the court, and he kind of ran with that theory, and I'm like, yeah, you can throw that theory out the window because the physical evidence enough proves that OJ was pretty guilty. Mm-hmm. And that's a case of a legal analyst looking at this thing and kind of allowing his opinion to overshadow like physical evidence.
So he's not thinking. So he's just technically flawed in his.
Yes.
That's why you gotta have the AI, man. You gotta replace these niggas. I'm just kidding. I'm looking it up anyway.
I think there's actually people out there that truly believe OJ is innocent. Aside
from of course. Well, first of all, let me not say of course that strongly. Like I didn't think everybody knew he was guilty. My bad. But yeah, not shocking. Judge Joe Brown has publicly stated on multiple occasions that he believes O.J. Simpson was not guilty in the criminal trial for the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. His reasoning is based on procedural flaws, lack of credible evidence, and questionable police conduct. So number 1, contaminated and mishandled evidence. Brown has emphasized that the Los Angeles Police Department mishandled the crime scene and evidence, particularly the blood samples. He pointed to issues like unsecured evidence, contaminated crime scenes, and chain of custody violations as grounds for reasonable doubt.
Interesting.
Okay, all right. Let's read the second one. Police misconduct on racial bias. Brown highlighted the racist history of LAPD Detective Mark Fuhrman, who was caught lying about using racial slurs. He argued that Fuhrman's credibility was severely damaged, casting doubt on the integrity of the entire investigation. Okay. Inconsistencies in the prosecution's case. He has noted that the timeline and physical evidence presented by the prosecution didn't add up convincingly, particularly regarding O.J.'s physical ability to commit the murders. Lack of sufficient blood evidence on O.J.'s body or car. The mysterious behavior and potential involvement of others. Those details. Judge Brown's bottom line is not necessarily that O.J. was innocent, but that the prosecution failed to meet burden of proof. He views the case as one that should not have resulted in a conviction based on the available evidence and the reasonable doubt standard. Oh, he's technical flaw. He's technical as fuck. Okay.
He's still a lawyer. He's a judge. He's still a lawyer.
I respect the technical. We gotta talk about that part. So, criticism of media and public. Okay, talk about that. So, without having to dig into all this shit to see if like understand his argument fully, which I'd rather do, but no, thank you. Technically, let's say he's right on all of this. We just went through all this substantiated. Okay, cool. That's interesting. Wait. So say, because I mean the law is, this shit is played out for a certain reason. Say he's technically correct, so he should not have been convicted. His head should not have resulted in a conviction. We just as technical as possible, following the procedure, the law and procedures. Period. They're there. They're written like that. They're proceeded that way for a reason. He should not have resulted in a conviction. Of course, the concern is, is that a major blind spot? Does that let an obvious killer go loose? Obvious is maybe not a fair word, but does that let the killer go loose? Maybe does anything else scream to his innocence? So it highlights a flaw in the procedures.
So again, this is his opinion, right? So it's kind of like me watching a football game and saying you should have ran the ball. I don't know if you watch football, so I don't even know if you get the reference. It's not dumb.
Football's gonna lose me.
Basketball?
Sure.
Okay, so we're down 3. There's 29 seconds on the clock, and I go for the 3 and I miss the 3, right? So one coach is gonna say, dude, you have 29 seconds. You take the 3. There's still enough time on the 24-second clock to get another possession and take another shot. That's your opinion. You could be right? Or you could be wrong. That's a technical opinion of doing it. And so he's technically he's right, because based on his opinion, his legal opinion, the fact that everything he's saying is correct. The thing that I disagree is, and that he's leaving out, which is what an analyst is going to do, they're going to leave out anything that works against their theory, is there was a bunch of physical evidence not even presented that they were very much well aware of, that was never presented, that would have been a slam dunk. And they're ignoring the DNA evidence, which we consider today in 2025 to be the gold standard. It wasn't the case in 95. It wasn't the case in 95. It was because they had just started presenting DNA evidence at that point. But, these are all opinions. And so again, instead of leaving it into the hands of analysts, or instead of looking at the evidence in and of itself. They're going to look at the game plan. They're going to dissect the game plan and make the ruling based purely off the game plan. Laymen's are going to look more at the evidence because they're going to be leaned on more heavily because they don't have law degrees and understand that stuff. So they're going to more likely look just at the evidence that you present and see if the story checks out.
Here's my only thing here. That's not his. I'm not seeing opinion in this. He's technical. He's following the laws. That's why we're able to say, yeah, he's correct. Where's his opinion?
Because again, it's a matter of, in the instance with the 3-point shot, it's a matter of your opinion if we take the 3 now or we take it later. Technically, you're right because that's a strategy, and it didn't work. So technically,
I understand your example good enough, but I'm having trouble mapping it to Judge Joe Brown and what he's doing here.
Because he's Monday morning quarterbacking it and saying, well, clearly it was ineffective, and clearly they didn't meet the burden. It's easy to say that after the fact, and then point as to why it didn't work.
Okay, all right. Let me just review back what I read, so I can just get you on that. Okay, fine. So Monday morning quarterback, contaminated, mishandled evidence. That's not Monday morning quarterback. They. Oh wait. Did they not know that during the? Yeah, of course they did. That was argued. All right. Police misconduct, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't really care about that one as much. Inconsistencies in the prosecution's case. He noted that the timeline of physical evidence presented by the prosecution didn't add up convincingly. OJ's physical ability to commit the murders. OJ's...
Was that not argued? That's an opinion. Okay. Yeah, that was one of the defenses. Yeah, that was one of the things that the defense argued. How could this one man kill 2 people?
Okay. Hold on. OJ's so it was present. Okay. Lack of sufficient blood evidence on OJ's body or car. Okay, so I see where the opinion is coming. The mysterious behavior. So the opinion is that, okay, here are the facts of the case, and it shows lack of evidence, but there's also thoughts on his physical ability to commit the murders. Mysterious behavior. So mysterious behavior cast. Okay, so I get where you're saying it's opinion, because this is enough for me as an individual to doubt, that this is something that's all right. I see that. Right. So once another person may say, okay, physical ability. What?
The good stuff that happened in Beersheba. I mean, Haifa. They had
we have a fire in the room. We have a fire in the room.
A fire. Yeah. Is it always Edmund?
Where is Raffy now when we need Burning Man.
Even Jeff said this morning that he don't think all of them did.
Burning Man. Raffy, I really like your PTR. What is it?
This is a community garden that's ready, and there's empty spots right now if anybody's willing to start up a garden.
What's the name of that garden? What's the name of that garden?
If I'm not
Where's it located?
SRU Community Spirit Garden.
Oh.
5562 West Edmond Street.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so there's some vacant lots.
That street.
Pardon?
What's the name of the street?
The street name again is 5562 West Edmond Street.
Yeah, how appropriate.
And a really nice garden.
It's a beautiful. There's a vacant spot actually, and yeah, anybody is willing to start up a garden.
How's the cell service there?
Yeah, it's self-service. You come.
It's close to the police station. The Chicago police station.
And you know what?
It's a safe neighborhood. It's a very safe neighborhood, guys, in the community garden.
Listen, if you look out the window from that building, you look right into the garden.
Yeah. Great way to put cameras to watch your garden grow.
Yeah, put a few,
cameras.
phone cameras there.
Your garden like foliage.
Can't hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Great neighborhood.
Yeah.
Great gardens.
Well, it's sort of a shitty building, but the garden's nice.
Guys, what do you expect? It's a low life. They have a community.
No, I get it. It's a big money to move in there.
The pheasants always have a community garden beside
Yeah,
them.
they do.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea, that neighborhood.
It's fine.
There is a gym down the road.
Is it?
Yeah, there's a gym.
It must smell like the same thing like in the building, you know, the sweaty people that don't shower.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Those old buildings have like a musty smell.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
So,
We don't have community gardens around
No.
here.
Your crackheads keep stealing my cucumbers down there, okay? I keep growing cucumbers and the crackheads come stealing it.
Not here.
But it is.
We
You know how many
have
crackheads
our
on
own
my
garden.
cucumbers already?
The only people that can afford to have gardens around here are people who, you know, like my sister and brother-in-law, who actually have some money.
Oh, wow. Everybody else is on the community side, huh?
You gotta go to the grocery store to get vegetables, or go to the farmer's market to get fresh local vegetables.
Wow.
But you can go to the farmer's market and use your food stamps to get those fresh local vegetables.
Nice. Well, we have a community garden that gives you fresh local vegetables. Great people. Great community. A little retarded community, but it's fine. It's a community, huh? Again, the street is that everybody should come visit is 5562 West Edmund Street. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I was aware of that.
Oh,
But,
now you know.
I mean, some of the units there are pretty. Oh my God! I mean, you should
With
only see.
cockroaches? Like cockroaches? Yeah.
Old linoleum. It's like this linoleum tile, you know, and
cockroaches.
Yeah. I mean, it's just some of the apartments are not what you would call.
You get what you deserve in life.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean, Jelly Bean?
I definitely know what you mean. Hold on a second. I'm going to. Here you go. Gesundheit.
I think we're gonna have time to vacuum before my husband gets home.
There you go. Rocky?
Yeah. Don't worry. You don't need to stay.
Don't vary about the thing.
Yeah, they're very. I love the radiators there for the winters.
Yeah, those old places have radiators.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one bedrooms probably there, and there's 3-bedroom units, and there's just a few, you know.
Just crackheads, losers.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So.
Yes. Happens. Great place for community, but great place. Great place.
Yeah. But I think that building sold in 2021 for, I don't know, maybe 600,000 or so. But that building I think was built in the 20s. In Chicago, there's a lot of buildings that were built in the 20s.
Yeah.
That style.
I love it. I just love it.
You can catch the blue line. It's just a few blocks from there, you know, and there is the regular metros and stuff. And you know, I know a lot of people. My parents, I say, went to Taft High School, which is sort of in that area. From what I recollect. I don't think I would pay 600,000 for that building, but you never know. People are.
How much?
I don't know, 600,000 for that building. We're going back.
A building like that needs constant improvement.
Right.
Great investment. Great investment.
Oh yeah.
Especially when a guy that fixes it up wears a wife beater.
Right, but you know.
Like ass.
when you
match with the people.
right, and then of course when you inherit a little money.
Like a loser, never get grown.
Yeah, well.
Fine. There's a lot of losers in life.
Totally.
There's a lot of them losers in life.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, gangsters. On the side note, is Jeff here or sleeping? Or chilling?
I woke up. What's up?
Is it true that Trump just sent $30 million to Gaza for aid?
I don't know.
No, he sent it to Edmonds Avenue.
Edmonds Avenue?
Yeah.
He's waiting for that check, huh?
I think so.
I wouldn't be surprised.